We will now reconvene the City Commissioners meeting.
He asked me 6 questions.
Would everyone please rise for an invocation by Commissioner McCrae, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance by Commissioner Casello.
Let us bow to the holy and most creative of all mankind. We come this afternoon first recognizing that thou art God, and besides thee there is no other. As we deliberate tonight on the business of this great city, we ask that you will lead us and guide us and protect us in whatever we decide for the betterment of this city as well as the citizens. Whatever we do, let us do it in love with all mankind. We all might disagree, but let us disagree and as well as agree with love and harmony. When we walk out of here, let us be reminded that we must continue to respect and love our fellow man. In your name we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May I have a motion to, are there any additions, deletions, or corrections to the agenda?
Mayor, we're going to add those two life-saving awards.
So we're going to have that as item 3E. So 2 awards, life-saving awards. Is there anything else? Seeing none, may I have a motion to approve as amended?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor state so by saying aye.
Aye.
On to informational items by members of the City Commission. Commissioner Casello, would you like to begin?
I would love to, Mayor, but I forgot my phone with all my scheduling things that I've gone to, so I'm going to have to pass.
All right.
Tonight's meeting. Thank you.
Commissioner Romulus?
I really have not too much to report this week, but I do want to send a special congratulations to our Palm Beach Post beat writer here for Boynton Beach, Alexandra Seltzer, who won I believe, second place for her article that she wrote on my husband's company. So we're always grateful and happy to help people move along in the world off of our shoulders. So congratulations to Ms. Seltzer. That's all I have to say for now. Thank you.
All right. I did some meetings. I met with Habitat for Humanity on July 19th. Also had a meeting with John Markey and Phil Mader. On July 24th, I met with the new general manager for the Boynton Beach Mall and look forward to great things to come. And speaking of which, there is a tax holiday this weekend for school supplies, which includes electronic equipment and software. So just beware that there's a 7% discount for not paying the sales tax this weekend for school supplies. I also attended the ribbon cutting for 5-Star Fitness and Wellness. On July 25th, attended the Office Depot Foundation event and received 50 knapsacks to be distributed in the community. I met with Ricky Petty for Healthier Boynton Beach, attended the League of Cities over in Riviera Beach, and met with Harvey Oyer regarding American Traffic Solutions. On the 27th, I went to the Town Square Partner Meeting, and on that afternoon, I went to the Public Relations Society of America, where our Eleanor Crisell won 2 awards for our Yappy Hour and our Dog Park Day. And we have it was really nice to see. And then that evening, I attended the opening of our magnetic ion exchange East Water Treatment Plant. The 28th, I attended the CRA and the City's Seahorse program, where we got to go snorkeling with kids who attended the Parks and Recreation camp, who learned how to snorkel, received snorkeling gear, and it was a great event. We saw a nurse shark, some eels, and plenty of fish. On the 29th, I attended the Breaking Barriers art exhibit at the Civic Center for artists with autism, and that afternoon went to the Unity event and the Unity in the Community Festival, and also went to the East Boynton Wildcats Fun Day, where I handed out the 50 knapsacks. Today, I attended Fire Stations 5 and gave a presentation regarding my trip to Finland, and let me get this word right, and attended their Keskuspelastusasema, which is fire rescue station in Finnish. And then we just had a closed-door session. That's all for me. Commissioner McCray?
Thank you, sir. First of all, I attended the Unity Day at Sarah Sims, but I must confess I got there when it was all over. But that was a good part because I got a chance to go around and ask the vendors and ask the participants, how was it? Everybody said it was excellent. They can hardly wait to do it again like next year. Also, I filled in for the mayor at Palm Beach MPO, and that was an excellent thing for me to do. I just want to tell you, you could miss some more meetings because I thought I was at a League of City meeting, and it was very informative. A lot of questions. We found out what was really happening to the streets as well as the highways here in this county. Very informative. I enjoy going, and you might see me sitting up there, not to back you up, but just to be up there, sir. Thank you.
Vice Mayor?
I also stopped in on the Town Square partnering. I also stopped in on the water plant opening. I met with representatives from ATS, and also I had the privilege of attending one of our local residents, Susan Oyer's own St. George's Society. I believe it was the 11th anniversary. So I appreciated her invitation for that, and that's all.
Mayor, excuse me, before we move on, I have an item on this agenda tonight. I did not do a disclosure at this time. When it come up, I would do a disclosure then when I begin. Thank you.
Okay. Is there any more other informational items? Seeing none. Announcing the first commission meeting September has been changed from Tuesday, September 5th, 2017 at 6:30 p.m. to Thursday, September 7th, 2017 at 6:30 p.m. to have the first public budget hearing on proposed full year 17-18 budget in accordance with the Truth in Millage Act calendar. Announce upcoming Town Square public input meetings. On Thursday, August 10th, at 5:30 p.m., we are going to have a public input meeting regarding playgrounds, which is what's going to happen to Kids Kingdom. On August 17th, from 5:30 to 7:30, is the architectural styles, and August 24th is open spaces. In addition, it seems to be on Tuesday, August 22nd, there will be a job fair held at Carolyn Sims. From 8 a.m. to noon will be subcontractors, and for the labor force from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. And now, I would like to award a certificate to Commissioner Romulus. On behalf of the John Scott Daly, Florida Institute of Government, and the Florida League of Cities, I am pleased to award this certificate to you for your completion of 18 hours of instruction at the Institute for Elected Municipal Officials in Tampa, Florida on June 2nd to the 4th, 2017. It is our sincere hope that you find the program challenging and worthwhile now that you have taken the basic IEMO. We encourage you to attend the Advanced Institute ordered annually. We also encourage you to take advantage of other training opportunities through FLC University and the Institute of Government. We strongly believe that your attendance at the Institute is indicative of your continued commitment to improving the quality of municipal government in Florida. If we may be of assistance in the future, please do not hesitate to call upon us. Lynn Tipton. So, here you go.
I would just like to say to Commissioner Romulus, I congratulate you. When I first came aboard to be an elected official, I attended that same institute, worthwhile. Don't ask me where my award is now, but anyway, it's around in Boynton somewhere. But thank you. I'm glad that you are a colleague now. Thank you.
All right.
After a year, thank you, sir.
All right. It's official. Next, we'll move on to a presentation by Chief Joseph.
Mayor Grant, Vice Mayor Katz, and commissioners, and the rest of the dais. The Fire Service has a long history of recognizing and celebrating people that do go above and beyond. And we have two such individuals in the crowd with us today. First is Sean Pittner. Yeah, close enough.
Let's call him Sean.
June 2nd, 2017, he was doing a reconnect in the residential area, and he was flagged down by a resident. The resident was on the phone with 911 saying that he needed assistance with his sister-in-law who was unresponsive in the backyard. Sean had just learned CPR through a city program, so he stopped, immediately went to the back and assessed the patient, found that indeed she had no pulse and no respiration, and began CPR immediately. His efforts were rewarded with her reviving even before the ambulance got there. So Sean saved a life. Sean, on behalf of the fire department and your department, Utility Services, we'd like to award you with recognition for your life-saving effects.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Our second award today is, again, John Wexler from Community Standards. And again, it was a Friday afternoon, and he was driving in a residential area, and he was flagged down by a bystander, saying that there was somebody that needed medical assistance in the car. So John turned around, went and assisted. Glenn.
I'm glad.
Sean.
Close enough.
Do you need Pierre to come up and bail you out?
I probably need Pierre. I always need assistance sometime. So Glenn was found this white male, unresponsive, not breathing. He called 911 to get assistance on the way, and the dispatcher gave him directions on how to perform CPR. So he was able to get the victim out of the car, assess the victim, found out he was not breathing, and began rescue ventilations on this person. So he actually kept the guy alive until the medics could get there, and they were able to give him the opioid antidote that revived him. So another saved life based on somebody standing and being counted and giving assistance when assistance was needed. So congratulations. He refused to say anything, but this is part of a larger project that the city manager has initiated throughout the city. We want to teach all of our employees CPR the next year. We want to teach them first aid. We want them to be available to perform and give assistance when needed. And eventually, my hope is that we'll be able to make this project spread throughout the city so that all the civilians that want to volunteer in Boynton Beach can learn CPR at no cost, so that they could become lifesavers as well. Thank you very much. Have a good night.
I'd like to add a couple words. I do want to personally thank those gentlemen. Being a nurse for since 2006, it's been over a decade since I've been a nurse. It's a scary event when a person codes on you or stops breathing and their heart stops beating, and you have to be the one to do that and keep that going until help comes. So I commend you for being brave under pressure, for helping save those lives, and truly you are appreciated for what you've done, and I am truly thankful for you. Thank you, both of you. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor, before we proceed to the public audience, I'd like to say to the city in regards to the announcement of the Town Square Public Input Meeting, I am one of the commissioners who sits up here and said that you all need to get out and make sure you get the word out. I want to commend you. Every place I turn, I see one of those flyers. I'm like saying where they haven't gone. Thank you. Job well done.
Moving on to public audience. Individual speakers will be limited to 3-minute presentations for items not on the agenda. Yes, Ms. Gray?
Good evening, Commissioners, Mayor. I'm here this evening as the owner and founder of GBDC Entrepreneurship Institute. We're a nonprofit organization located at 3200 South Congress Avenue, Suite 104, right here in Boynton Beach. Annette Gray. Tonight I'm here to say thank you to the city commissioners, the mayor, our CRA, our police department, Chief Katz, for supporting my nonprofit and helping me to do the work I do in the community, especially with our young people. Last time I was here, I asked for some funding to help with our summer youth program. I'm here tonight to introduce to you the group I've been working with and have them just take a few minutes each to introduce themselves. I want to introduce you to Antoine Stroop, who is the CEO of the business they created this summer.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I'm Antoine Stroop. I'm 17 years old, and I'm interested in pursuing a career in sound engineering. I think it's a unique way to live your life. And I'm also interested in coding and software developing. As time goes by, technology advances all the time, so I think it'll be a great skill to have. A goal I'm working on this summer is to finish learning these 2 programming languages called Java and Ruby. And one long-term goal I've set for myself is to graduate college with my new knowledge of sound engineering or coding, and hopefully maybe one day start my own business around it. So my business partners and I have created a new company. It's called Fast Wave Media. And basically what it is, it's an LLC designed to helping small businesses, nonprofits, and upcoming entertainers manage and build their brand through social media marketing. This company uses different platforms to promote the company or the brand online. Fast Wave Media can guide businesses to the right direction, to help them grow in the online community. So this is an opportunity to be interactive with a lot of different people. The leaders at Fast Wave Media, we've mastered using different social media platforms like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and even LinkedIn to promote other businesses. The company will post on the client's account, and we use strategies to get more people to follow the page or just stay active on top of it. So we're a company that helps businesses get the exposure they need online to help them obtain the goals or objectives they have, to help them meet the goals and objectives on social media. Thank you. I'd like to introduce the Chief Business Development Officer, Aubriana Stroop.
There's more than one, so.
Good evening. My name is Aubriana Stroop, and I am the CBDO of Fast Wave Media. As the Chief Business Development Officer, I work towards improving marketing as well as the overall growth of the company. I am 16 years old and currently finishing school to later pursue a career in the field of medicine. Helping others is something I strive for, and a company like Fast Wave Media will allow me to do so, as well as create an environment for income. I would now like to present to you the business mission statement. Fast Wave Media is committed to providing high-quality services for clients seeking social media needs on various platforms. The leaders of Fast Wave Media will dedicate its activities towards maintaining a creative and respectful working environment where relationships are established with clients and the community. Thank you, and I'd like to present to you the Chief Financial Officer, Danya Bafri.
Good evening. My name is Danya Bafri, and I'm the CFO of Fast Wave Media. As the CFO, I help manage all the finances of the company. I am going to be a sophomore at Atlantic High School and would someday like to have my own business. In the next couple of years, I would like to be graduating high school with at least 3.8 GPA. In about 5 to 6 years from now, I would like to be attending UCF or Harvard on a full-ride scholarship. The business vision of the future states, the industry of social media has revolutionized the world and is one of the fastest growing fields worldwide. Fast Wave Media will assist other clients achieve their branding and marketing goals and has high aspirations for the future. The leadership team envisions the company to be financially solvent and potentially expand with additional staff and clients. A growth in the client base will increase the company's value, and higher profit will mean more opportunities. The company in the future will leverage partnership with larger clients that will build brand recognition and appeal to a larger demographic. With the use of celebrity branding and other forms of marketing, the company can become well known. 3 primary goals of the organization is to obtain stability, give back to the community, and help clients meet their social media goals. I would like to introduce the Chief Operating Officer, Tamara Gunn.
Good evening. My name is Tamara Gunn. I am the COO of Fast Wave Media, and I am 15 years old. I attend South Tech Academy, which is located in Boynton Beach, and I participate in the Music Academy. This academy means a lot to me because it's helped me with my communication skills and one of my goals, such as an act of kindness every day. One of my goals for this summer is to create a great business with my business partners, and one of my long-term goals is to become a DJ. Now I'd like to talk to you about business philosophies and vision. Fast Wave Media is dedicated to creating and developing a recognized brand with a safe and respectful atmosphere towards the customers, workers, and the community. This company hopes to establish relationships with the clients and to keep them satisfied for as long as possible by making future employees feel significant to the company's success. This will promote a happy, healthy, and productive work environment. Giving back to the community by promoting special events or even donating towards a local charity as the company grows. Keeping high confidentiality for our clients so they feel protected. The company will also give clients discounts. Thank you for your time.
So, thank you. We appreciate you listening to our little snippet of our business plan. We're hosting a Shark Tank event tomorrow night at the Boynton Beach Library at 6:00 p.m. We hope you could come over and support, donate, and hear the full business plan. So, thank you. Are there any questions?
I'd just like to say, Ms. Gray, you've been a great mentor to a lot of young people over the years. This is one of the finest groups that have come before us. I'm proud to sit on your board of directors and supporting your causes there. I think what you do for the young people in this community is just some outstanding work, and it's a prime example that is standing before us tonight. So I thank you, and I thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your effort and your dedication to becoming better citizens.
Thank you.
To the board members of Fastway Media, you now have one of your clients. I will be talking to you guys later.
I'm Alice Warren. I'm at 146 Sausalito Drive in Boynton Beach. I want to thank you for approving my application for library board. I served as a temporary many years ago when Virginia was designing the new library. I'm here to tell you how impressed I am at the results. I moved to San Antonio 8 years ago, and I just returned a year ago. And I have to tell you, this is an example of the kinds of things that go on in the library. The library is absolutely inviting all of you to come and visit. If you haven't been there, I'm talking to the commissioners and the audience and your friends and so on. It's an experience. I was so impressed and amazed at what is going on there. I took a tour before I went to the first meeting to see what our tax dollars are doing. And I have to tell you, it's amazing. They live on a very small budget for a library, but everything is so absolutely high tech. The New York Times books are there. I can't tell you how impressed I was at the new building. Now, I didn't come here to discuss drugs, but I have to tell you, I saw that sheet when I walked in. I come from San Antonio. I was close to Denver. And I have to tell you that the idea of having medical marijuana is just opening and inviting a season for legalizing drugs. I'll give you a picture of what's going on in Denver.
Excuse me, we will give you opportunity to speak about medical marijuana when that item is discussed.
Oh, okay. Well, I want to thank you. I'm very happy to be back in Boynton. I came here in 1995, and I left in 2009 for a short time. And I want you to look at me because I will be here often. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Seems we made the right appointment to that library board. Glad to have you.
And one thing about the library that I noticed just this past week is that all the new DVDs are near at the beginning of the alphabet. So I just saw the founder, and that's next to the F. So for all those that rent it's a great place to be.
Commissioners, hi. My name is Joyce Smuckler. I live in Boynton Beach, and I wish to make the following comment on behalf of the League of Women Voters for Palm Beach County. In June of this year, it was announced that more than 600 members make the League of Women Voters of Palm Beach County the third largest in the country. We are also proud of our high level of activity in advocacy and in voter service information. This summer, we are a part of a large coalition that is gathering petitions to get a proposal on the ballot that will restore the voting rights of most felons. I have these petitions with me today and hope that all of you and all the people in the audience would like to sign for them. You can hand sign the petitions back to me, or you can mail them yourselves. Are there any questions? Are you familiar with this petition?
Yeah, I'd just like to say to your organization, thank you for stepping up to the plate, because it seems like we can't get anything done, so maybe we do need to sign petitions to get their rights back. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Have you signed?
Not yet, but I bet I sign when you finish.
But is this, so this is for the 2018? So if we
Correct.
sign for
So
2000?
exactly.
So we
working-
can sign again if we sign for 2016?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're working on it now.
Okay.
We need a lot of signatures and as much help from the community as possible.
I believe it's 600,000 that you need, correct?
Yes.
Yes, that's a lot of signatures.
You don't know our ladies. They're tough.
Oh, no, trust me. I believe in you guys, and thank you for the work that you're doing. I know you're very
Yeah.
diligent
So
with it.
This whole, what I'm doing here is going to be done in every municipality in Palm Beach County, and it was done in, the Board of County Commissioners meeting as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for hearing me. I have a paper. I'll put it
All right.
Thank we get them. Thank you.
Good evening. My name's Debbie Lytle, 1008 Ocean Drive, Boynton Beach. A couple of things. I would like to announce that we are having a painting party at the Boynton Beach Cemetery on August 26th, starting at 7:30 in the morning. Anyone that's interested in revitalizing our city cemetery, please come out. I also contacted the commission recently via email about the community greening organization that is located in Delray Beach, but they plant trees, and I would like to get a volunteer group or get some interest from commission to move forward with inviting them here to start planting some trees in parks, in vacant lots, in for beautification. So that's another thing I'd like to work on. And I was not here for budget meetings, but I did watch them on Comcast, Channel 99. And my interest is in the parks and recreation area. I was a little disappointed in the announcement about sort of against the tennis center and how much interest that y'all were putting in the golf course. The golf course is not within the boundaries of the city, and I think that we would be better off focusing on property that is located within the city limits. And if you're going to promote the golf course, I would hope that you would try and promote the tennis center and some of the other parks that are here locally, and parks that you have not yet funded, like Quantum Park, for one. I was going through a list, and I know that there's like 13 parks in District 2 and 11 parks in District 3. And there's only about 4 in District 4 and 2 or 3 in District 1. So even though you are a commission of different areas, I hope that you will cross your boundaries and support parks in other areas of the city and not just your own districts. Thank you.
I'll give you some information for District 1 is that the Calusa Park is owned by the county, and so they're putting over $5 million into that soon with the surtax. So we don't have all the parks as well in the city, and so the county is helping out.
Very good. Thanks.
Good evening. My name is Cindy Falco Di Corrado, And tonight I wanted to talk about the swales that are being proposed for the road construction for the south of my neighborhood, which will be coming up soon. The current plans are for swales to be on both sides of the road. In my neighborhood, which is in Forest Park, we do not have a park, so we do have a lot of people that do walk the streets up and down all day long. And I wanted to bring this to your attention because it prevents the people, if there's going to be swales, they're going to be walking in the road, which then creates a public hazard. I wanted to bring this up and would ask that you please revamp or re-see the situation of what can be done as opposed to creating more swales for both sides of the street where walking will become more difficult for those who walk their dogs every morning and are out and about walking in the community. Thank you.
Any particular street or is just the neighborhood in general?
It's in the Forest Park area. They have the plans. I don't have the exact streets that it's going to transpire, but in our community we have, like, on one side of the street we do have some of the sidewalks. On the other side we don't have some of the sidewalks. And if there's swales, people are going to be walking out in the middle of the road. And we do have a lot of walkers that are out about all times of the day.
I want to thank you for your concern. We have the Assistant City Manager, Mr. Colin Graff, here. He just heard what you said. Hopefully he will get with you and get something back to me. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Hi, Susan Oyer, 140 Southeast 27th Way. I'd like to say thank you to the city manager and to Vice Mayor Katz and to Commissioner Casello, who were kind enough to come to my charity's 10th birthday party. They had a great time, I hope. Hopefully they enjoyed the food, and you should be seeing your pictures in the shiny sheet in the next couple days, I would assume. I also would like to say thank you to Alexandra from the Palm Beach Post, because she did a story on my next door neighbor after I mentioned something at the last meeting that he is going to be part of Shark Week, and she did a great story on him, and yay, something good in the paper about Boynton Beach. So thank you and have a good evening.
Hi, Sherry Johnson, Community Caring Center, Boynton Beach. We're having another birthday party too. And you're all invited. So I'm here to tell you to save the date, November 16th. We'll have our dinner dance gala, and Commissioner Casello and his wife Josephine have consented to be the honorary chairs. The reason that's important for you to know that is because you started us. It was back in 1987 that it was a historic time that both the black ministers and the white ministers joined forces for the first time in Boynton Beach and actually came to a city commission meeting and asked you to help them start the Community Caring Center. So this is your birthday party. We're going to be 30 years old, and we really would like you all to attend. Thank you.
Good evening. Mark Carriage, 248 Main Boulevard. It's that time of year again. This Saturday, P2P is having our annual back-to-school health fair. We'll be giving out close to 1,000 book bags to students. Also, they'll be getting physicals. There'll be all kinds of testing done. And it's a great opportunity. We have the hospitals, the blood banks, you name it. And also, I want to give a great shout-out to our men in uniform, the police department who helps us each year stuffing the bags the day before, along with our firefighters. We greatly appreciate that because it's a lot of work. I remember when we didn't have their help, and it was staff and board members doing it for about 6.5 hours. With the great organizational skills of our firefighters and our police department, we get it done in about 3 hours. So it's kudos to them, and we do appreciate their help. We want to invite you all out. It's this Saturday. We'll start about 11 o'clock, go to about 2. We'll have refreshments, hot dogs, hamburgers, grilling, and so please come out and support it like you have in the past, and we'd love to see you there. Thank you.
Mr. Carriage, we also have women in uniform as well.
Yes.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, men and women in uniform. Yes.
Yep. Thank you.
Being no more public comment, moving on to administrative. Advisory Board appointments. The first one we have is Education and Youth Advisory Board. Commissioner Casello.
Yes, hold on one second. I think that's Wilkinson.
Right.
Laurie. I move to appoint Laurie
Second.
Wilkinson.
All those in favor state so by saying aye.
Aye.
Next, we have an applicant for the Planning and Development Board, Commissioner Romulus.
I'd like to nominate Ms. Oyer to the regular position, opening up an alternate position.
Second that.
All those in favor state so by saying aye.
Aye.
And none other. Moving on to consent agenda. Is there anybody who would like to remove an item for consent agenda?
I would, Mayor.
Yes.
Thank you. I'd like to move I know I'm going to move 7B, 7A.
6A? The proposed resolution regarding the CDBG funds?
I didn't say 6A, but I do need to remove that one as well.
Yep, good.
And also
7A's bits and purposes, that's
I
not
will
consent.
discuss that. All right, no
We
problem.
will discuss that
6A,
later.
That's good.
All right. So regarding item 6, is there any other items? 6D.
6A and 6B.
Seeing no more, moving on to item 6A. Proposed resolution number R17-066, adopt the City of Boynton Beach Community Development Block Grant application for funding, authorizing the city manager's execution and the activity submitted in the City of Boynton Beach's 5-year consolidated 1-year action plan for full year 2017 to 2022. The anticipated community development block grant allocation is $514,937 and reappropriation of $300,000 non-expended funds from previous years. My main question regarding that is, how does someone apply for our community development block grants, and who can apply?
We have a citizen participation plan. Annually,
Excuse me, they don't know who you are.
Oh, Jane Doe. I'm Octavia Sherrod, Community Development Manager. I'm sorry. There is a there's a participation plan that the City of Boynton Beach has. Every year, we advertise what our anticipated allocation will be in a newspaper of general circulation. We have a public meeting where we explain the program, how it works, what's eligible, and invite people to come to that meeting. We also keep a database of various organizations and churches in the entire city. We send them letters inviting them as well, because our participation has generally always been, in our opinion, not what we would like it to be. So we try to do a number of things to encourage people to come. Sometimes during the year, when we're not taking applications, we get inquiries about it. So we keep names, phone numbers, addresses, and we also contact those people personally to let them know as well. But we generally spend hundreds of dollars on our ad in the newspaper concerning the program for our public meeting.
Did the public meeting already happen?
Yes.
When did that happen?
In the spring. I don't remember the exact date. We had the meeting, and we also scheduled at that meeting, which is also in the newspaper, when we set up a workshop for people who may have questions about, more detailed questions about how to participate. So we also scheduled personal meetings as well with myself. But we do that, it's for citizen input. When we have the public meeting that we had, it was held here in Commission Chambers. If there's record of it, the clerk attends and take minutes of the meeting, and we also keep names and addresses of people who came to the meeting.
Okay. So it's all the $814,937 is allocated for?
That's what's in the plan. It's what we're making recommendations for, where the allocation should be used.
Okay. See, the issue I have is that this was the same amount of people, the same people as last year, and so there was no new people applying.
Oh.
So I guess, and when do we need to let the federal government know?
Our application is due August 15th.
Okay.
Let me put in, this was an unusual year. Because of what is going on in Washington, D.C., all of us who are entitlement communities did not get any information as to what our allocations would be this year. Therefore, everybody's process was thrown out of whack. We generally get information as to what our funding would be sometimes around June. We did not find out what our allocation was this year until June. We usually find out about January or February, sometimes in the wintertime. This particular year we didn't, which also is a reason why HUD allowed for an abbreviated process in doing so. So we didn't find out what our allocation would be. But because we knew we hoped that we would get funding, we started our process anyway. When we advertised our allocation, we noted in our advertisement what we anticipated. We used last year's, so we were very surprised that we got a small increase this year from over last year's allocation.
Let me ask you this. How can we promote this to get some new blood in here, some new names applying for this grant,
That's a very good question, Commissioner. I've been doing it now since 1997, and that has been an issue, but it's not confined just to the city of Boynton Beach. It's an issue for many municipalities and the county as well. All I can say is we've done everything. We've advertised in the free newspapers. We've done the Post. We've done the Sun Sentinel in the past. We have had interest from small groups who are not as established as the agencies that provide services to our citizens. It is a complicated and cumbersome process. It requires that you are an organized organization, that you are a nonprofit, you have a license. It requires that you have your money up front. It is a reimbursable grant. We don't issue money prior to you doing your service. You have to put your money out and we reimburse you for your expenditures. So it's not necessarily attractive to many people who are doing stuff, or who are providing services.
The process, the application process, you said is cumbersome. Is that something that we could help people with the application process, if that is a stumbling block as far as applying for this? I know there's other things that go into the application, but it seems like the filling out of the application could be pretty difficult.
It is a competitive process, and I don't know how it would be considered if I help people do their applications.
Sure. Okay.
We hold an informational workshop, Octavia, on what all needs to be done to get through the process?
We do. And that's usually a big question, but as I said, though, I still provide one-on-one technical assistance to people who don't, or who have never done it before. And usually I get, and I encourage people to do it. There's a number of services that our community needs. That's, we try.
So Ms. Sherrod, we've had this conversation before, you and I personally, about this grant and helping more organizations be aware of it. And I believe that this is something that we need to start implementing citywide. We need to get away from advertising solely in the newspapers, because that source of media is starting to become extinct, speaking from a millennial point of view here. So we need to start finding other ways to advertise in terms of social media and digital media. That's how we can also find other people who may not know or who may not read the Palm Beach Post or the Sun Sentinel, but they might still be interested in this program and have all the qualifications. So we need to start looking at other avenues to get the information out to these people. If we're going to spend that money, we might as well spend it on something that will have a larger audience and cast a wider net. And again, this is not just towards your department, but this is a citywide effort that we all need to kind of take the initiative to change our way of doing business and to start our marketing a little bit more and create little bit more ingenuity in our marketing and not just leave it as the old-fashioned way of just putting it out in the newspaper and expecting people to read that and be able to respond to that.
Okay, I'm taking note of your input as far as that's concerned.
You ready for me now?
Also, I need you to be cognizant that regardless of how many people come and how much money they make, public services are capped at 15% of whatever our allocation is.
I don't know what that means.
Only 15% of the grant can go for public services.
Meaning what?
The services
I still think that that's irrelevant to what I'm saying. What I'm saying
I understand, but that was just a
I want us to start advertising in other avenues and other mediums, and that's what I'm looking for from your department, from other departments throughout the city. We need to find other ways to get the information out there and not just rely on print media, because that's not enough.
Okay.
That's my personal opinion. Thank you.
Okay.
Mr. McCray?
Thank you. First of all, Ms. Sherrod, is it advertised on the city website?
I have not done that.
Okay. Is there any monies left? In the allocation, is there any monies left? Is there any money left over? If anybody come in tomorrow, do you have money that can assist anybody? This is what I'm asking.
There's money left, but the issue is, are they going to have an application complete, scored, reviewed, and scored?
Answer my question. I understand the process. Okay, so it's a time factor as well. I don't know, was it last year that we had to give money back to HUD?
Yes.
Oh, can you explain to me why we had to do that so I can remember? Thank you.
The money we didn't really give it back to HUD. It's reappropriated. The city still has it. So we paid it to ourselves. That was for some economic development money that was done many years ago, and there were no jobs. The agency went out of business and did not provide any jobs.
What was that total, that amount?
50,000. 50,000.
So what are we planning on doing with the 50,000 since we paid it back to ourselves? I'm just trying to help people get some money if they need some.
For 17-18 fiscal year? And give me your question again, Commissioner.
Okay, with the 50,000, is that in your account? Is that on a pot somewhere? I'm just saying.
That's here in the city.
In the city, where about in the city? Your account?
The bank account, the city's bank account.
That's good, but I'm just saying, is it, maybe Tim need to help me. I'm just saying, is it set aside in a bank account
for any particular reason?
Something with this name on it saying, what the $50,000.
There is no particular. It's not earmarked for anything.
It's not earmarked, but we still have $50,000 sitting somewhere.
Yes, sir.
Who can use that $50,000? This is what I'm trying to get out of you now.
Who can use it? Anybody can use it.
Okay. Okay.
Is your question, can an agency have access to it?
That the hands are going up in the audience. Yeah, okay. Yeah,
I mean, you need to give me a precise.
You answer my question. I just want to know, since we have the money, Ms. Sherrod, is that if something come like an emergency, we got $50,000 that we could, do we have it like that?
I don't think it works that way.
I know it don't work like that. That's why I'm trying to get her to say that.
Tim Howard, Assistant City Manager. The $50,000 we have set aside under CDBG in a separate account, and the way that worked is that Octavia in the CDBG program, it's allowed to be used for CDBG activities. It's set aside now. What will happen is if She has an activity to use those 50,000. I think she goes back to HUD and submits an activity, and then it's allowed to be used. An amendment.
Thank you. That's what I was trying to get. Thank you. An amendment. Thank you. You answered my question. Thank you.
So for fiscal year 18-19, we expect to see a new form of advertising for the CBDG grant, hopefully?
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
May I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor state so by saying aye.
Aye.
Item D, Commissioner Romulus.
I just wanted to pull this item out again to make the point, which Tim already knows where I'm going with this. I'm waiting for us to create that those resolutions or whatever it is that we need to create in order to have our local and minority businesses get first dibs at these types of things. So when it comes to RFPs and bids going out, I want to see local preference and minority preference for these. So that's why I pulled this out.
The plan right now.
Where are we on that?
My intent is on the 15th of August to have an item before you to consider that and outline the program that we have. We're suggesting for the local business preference that would be included in future bid documents.
May I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor state so by saying aye.
Aye.
May I have a motion to approve the remainder of the consent agenda?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor state so by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, forgot to be asking that. Bids and purchases over 100,000. Commissioner McCray.
Thank you, sir. I'd like for staff to come down and explain this. And the reason I want staff to come down and explain it because it says paving and it's really for striping. And I have a list of the places that is going to be striped, but I just want to make sure that the public understands what we're doing. I'm just saying.
Yes, sir. Hi, I'm Gary Dunmeyer. I'm the city engineer. This is a striping project that has been kicked off primarily because it came in, it's really easy to get the striping looked at first. And so we also have paving and concrete work that we'll be doing and sidewalk rehabilitation and pavement rehabilitation projects. And we're trying to get those done locally, and we're able to do that, but that's a separate item. This we can't get done locally, so we were able to get this out early, and we found all county that we'll be able to get a piggyback bid on, and it will be awarded and started as soon as this commission meeting approves it.
Okay, you said started. That's what I want to know. So if we approve this tonight, when will we start it? Tomorrow?
Well, they need to get mobilized, so it may take a week, perhaps two.
Yeah, because I don't mind approving it, but I like to say when we do something, and it's going into all districts, I just like to make sure once we approve it, we see something taking place. This is what I'm saying.
Absolutely. I'm eager to get going on some of these sales tax dollars.
All right.
You said sales tax dollars.
Yes, sir.
The surtax.
Okay, the surtax. The penny.
My apologies.
Yeah, okay.
Surtax.
I thought you was getting money we didn't know about. All right. Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Vice Mayor did.
All right. All those in favor state so by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Thank you.
Seeing none. Moving forward. Item is still on the table.
Still on.
All right. On to item 11A, unfinished business. Commissioner McCray.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First of all, I'd like to offer a motion to reconsider.
Is there any disclosures that you would like to?
Yes, but I'd like for the motion to go before I do the disclosure.
All right. All those in favor state so by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Nay.
Please note it's been 3-2.
Okay. Thank you. First of all, I'd like to do a disclosure at this point. I've been bombarded with phone calls, I think, from every entity who could call me and say about Mr. Katz, did he serve as my campaign manager? The answer is yes. He served as my campaign manager because when I was running for office, he approached me. Mr. Katz did an excellent job. And if I have to use Mr. Katz again, I will use Mr. Katz again. I need that stated for the record. But as far as Mr. Katz lobbying Commissioner McCray in regards to this, we had no connections with this. I need to have that stated for the record. I myself, I'm going to say that again, I myself was the one that called Attorney Harvey Oria Jr. to get information that I needed to move on this. Commissioner McCray, Also spoke with Sergeant Hawkins. I called Sergeant Hawkins on Thursday of last week. He apologized today for not getting back with me, but he and we talked today, so those are my disclosures. I'm glad Shauna is here tonight because there's some questions that I need to ask Shauna because she worked on this diligently. And I'd like to start off by asking Shauna, in regards to when we was going out in litigation, in regards to this matter, did Boynton meet the standards of litigation?
So far, the city has won all of the appeals that it has faced with regard to the city's red light camera program. In all of the forums that the city has been challenged, the city's red light camera program has been found to be legal. There's only one remaining pending legal matter, which is the class action lawsuit against all of the public cities, states, counties in the state of Florida that have ever had a red light camera program, and that's the only thing that's still pending. That's a class action lawsuit, so that's going to go on for a little bit longer.
Thank you. My next comment is that the reason that I'm excited about bringing this back up is that I've been receiving a lot of phone calls about things going on in District 2. I get calls at night about individuals at Hester shooting. And I feel like that's putting our citizens in danger. That's number one. I get calls from Mr. Bird, who's over our Boynton Wildcats. And he asked me, he said, Commissioner, what are we going to do about this? The parents are getting out to the point where they are scared to send their kids out here to play football at second. We lost a lot of our Wildcats. They're now playing in Delray because of what was going on in Hester. And I will give more illustrations of why I want this put in, but I'd like to call Sergeant Hawkins down at this time to ask him some questions.
Mayor, if I may, there's a slide that I had made up, if we can put that on the board just for reference.
There we
go.
As he's coming down, I'd like to go ahead and say, which your slide is up, I'd like to go ahead and say another reason that I brought this up is that I'm home in the daytime, and I've been watching what we call the inherent behavior. Vice Mayor Katz always said it's called learned behavior, and I've been watching the behavior of our citizens, when they approach red lights and going through. I paid 2 red light tickets. I learned the behavior process. I recognize, if I run that red light, I'm going to have to pay money now. That is a learned behavior. Sergeant Hawkins, since the program was shut down, has there been a noticeable increase in red light running here in the city of Boynton?
Yes.
Thank you. I'm also aware that despite the cameras not issuing violations, the vendor has continued to provide video to assist with investigations done by your department. In fact, 17 different occasions, including a recent hit and run that resulted in a fatality, ATS, at no cost to Boynton Beach provided helpful video. Is that a true and accurate statement, sir, that I'm stating tonight?
Yes, it is.
Thank you. When the program was active, 2/3 of the violations issued was issued to drivers who lived outside of the city limit of Boynton.
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Hawkins, I need to just ask another question. Is there a need for the red light cameras here in the city of Boynton?
Yes.
Thank you. I got a lot of calls, not that many calls. I got one email from a lady who made a statement to me. She said that the police officers need to be doing their job. I do agree they need to be doing their job, but I agree that they don't need to be sitting at an intersection looking for somebody to run a red light. I have people on Northwest 4th Street going 25, not 25 miles an hour, 45, 50. And these citizens are calling me. I live on there. I have other citizens all around this city that lives in District 2, since we want to go like it really needs to be. And they're telling me, well, what are you all doing about all of this speeding? The speeding. I am one of those that said that we need more police officers. I do agree that we need more police officers, but we need them on the streets doing their job. I'm not in favor of police officers sitting in intersections trying to catch someone who's running a red light when there is something that's out there that could help with capturing whoever runs a red light. I'd also like to ask Sergeant Hawkins, I'm just saying, when these are reviewed, tell me the procedure that we use to review the red light violators.
We go to a remote server, and I'm sorry, I'm Sergeant Phil Hawkins, Boynton Beach Police Department. I'm in charge of traffic. We go to a remote server. We have the CSOs, the officers, they review all of the infractions, and they decide at that point whether there is a violation or not. And they do a couple reviews. It's just not watching a video. They watch the video a couple times, they look at the still photos, and then they decide and they electronically sign for the notice of violation, and or if it's overdue, it becomes a uniform traffic citation, and they would issue either or.
Thank you, sir. I don't have any more questions for you. I just have questions from the gentleman that's sitting in the audience from the company. If you all want to come to that podium over there, please. I'm going to give another disclosure. When I see these three gentlemen sitting in the audience, I went and introduced myself, shook their hands, and backed up when they told me who they was, so I don't owe you, I did not chat with you all. But first of all, I'd like to say that the proposal that you all are giving us is a good agreement for the people of Boynton. Let me ask you a question. The vendor is agreeing to provide, at no cost to the city, a dedicated license plate reader. Am I correct?
Absolutely. Alan Farish, who's with us, is with a company called Sintel. Sintel has agreed to work with us to provide at no cost to the city a number of ALPR cameras at intersections and locations chosen in consultation with both the City Council and with the Boynton Beach Police Department.
Are you already working with the City Police Department with the license plate readers?
We have not started working on the license plate reader project with the city, but if the council approves this motion, then that's certainly something that will begin immediately.
And what is your name for the record?
Oh, I'm sorry. My name is Charlie Torito. I'm with American Traffic Solutions.
Thank you.
Okay. At the time of the termination of this agreement, sir, do you all plan on keeping the same fees? I'm just saying, are you going to raise the fees, or we're going to remain the same?
The fees will remain the same as they were prior to termination. I will add, if I may, that in addition, we'll also be providing the Boynton Beach Police Department with the ability to live view the cameras at several of the locations that are non-FDOT. If you'd like, I could actually show you on my phone and pass it around one of your locations, the Boynton Beach 18 location, where we actually have that function enabled right now. And members of the council or the police department would have the ability to view that surveillance if there were, in fact, a need to do so.
Well, I'm glad that you all are ready to put in the camera readers. I'm also ready that you all agree to put in the videos. And I think after speaking to the community, the package is a good package for this city. I'm only one person. And the reason I'm saying that is because are you going to give us like 23 ALPR cameras, okay, to be installed by the police department wherever we said that we want them to go?
Mayor,
Yes.
may I interrupt for just a minute,
Yeah.
please? I'm sorry, Commissioner McRae.
No problem.
One thing I'm just a little concerned on the conversation, because in speaking with Shauna, I think the item that you're discussing right now, the actual reconsideration, is limited to that act, if approved tonight, is limited to the contract that was terminated. So it is not appropriate for us to discuss anything beyond what was in that contract at the time the letter of termination was given. It would be like we're pulling the letter back and the contract lives. It's not appropriate for us to be, I don't believe, and I'm going to ask for Shauna's help, for us to be discussing add-ons or amendments or changes, because I think it's outside the actual scope of this motion and can maybe cause us some issues from a procurement standpoint.
Okay.
I don't want to cause us, thank you, I don't want to cause us any issues, but I just want to know that you all are all on board. Gentlemen, thank you for showing up tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm through.
Thank you.
Not to say that can't be done, which I didn't,
Right, I understand we want to be
at a different
legal.
meeting.
Yes.
This is what Commissioner comment. Casello, you're next.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Sergeant, let me read this. Cameras are designed to change behavior, reduce violations and collisions, and not generate revenue. Do you agree with that statement?
I do.
Okay. Can you tell me then why in the last 4 years we now are making $631,000 on red light cameras?
I can't. That's.
Can you
yeah,
explain
that's-
to me how the number of violations are going up every year if these are not to produce revenue but to change driving behavior? Would you agree or not agree that driving behavior has not changed or has changed?
Well, when we were active, we did see a decrease. They have gone down some. I apologize. I had some numbers and I was stuck at a late call. So, but the numbers did decline. And the revenue, that's not my forte is the revenue.
Revenue can only go up if the citations go up, correct?
I can't answer that.
Okay.
I'm sure Tim can.
Okay, I've got some statistics up there, Sergeant Hawkins, up there, and it's from the Florida Highway and Vehicle Department there. And what they're telling us here in Florida that red light cameras actually increase the number of collisions at intersections. Would you agree with those numbers?
Commissioner Casella, do you have updated information, or is it?
That's the last one we have right there.
I think they withdrew this because the Senate had questions, and it was relevant to. It didn't bring in the increase of persons that moved into the state, which increased the number of drivers on the road. That was one of the issues. That they had an issue with that.
Okay,
they also have an issue with how they describe an intersection, because an intersection includes 250 feet per DHSMV from the intersection, which includes now they're using a a latitude, longitude, if you would. What the problem is they're apple and oranges, and no one's got on the same page.
It depends who you talk to.
I would tell you sorry to interrupt. In our study the last time, we showed a decrease inside the intersection at angle.
And also you showed an increase outside area, didn't you, in rear end collisions? I think it was up 38% the last time we had that discussion. Is that correct, sir?
No, we did.
Okay, thank you. Okay, yeah. And I think rear-end collisions, I think the only people they really help are those faces we see on the buses there, personal injury lawyers. That's just my take. Also, Sergeant Hart, can you tell me how many communities or how many municipalities that make up Palm Beach County now are currently using cameras, red light cameras?
None.
None. Why is that?
I don't know.
Okay. Can you tell me, and this is probably for the city manager, is that when we terminate a contract with any vendor here in the city, do we continue to use their services after the contract has been terminated? City manager?
I don't think I'm following you in terms of.
We have a contract. When we have a contract with a vendor here in the city that's doing business with the city of Boynton Beach, and at any time we terminate the contract with that vendor, do we still use services or take gratitude from that vendor at no cost?
Yeah. I asked ATS.
I'm asking the city manager. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
I'm telling you, I spoke with ATS, and they said they would leave the cameras still up.
Weren't we told when we voted the last time at a 3-2 vote, weren't we told the cameras were going dark? Is that true?
Dark, not down.
Yeah.
To me, cameras going dark mean they're being shut off. I guess that's not the meaning of it?
No.
This is to the lawyer. Thank you, Shana.
Would you like me to answer the question?
Yeah, I would.
Okay. So what happened when the commission voted to end the issuing of to not renew the city's contract or terminate the contract in September of 2016 is the city's community service officers, CSOs, stopped issuing red light camera violations as of December 31st, 2016. That means they stopped signing into the computer and signing notices of violation and mailing them to violators. That does not mean that the ATS company stopped running their cameras, and it doesn't mean that ATS stopped providing certain services. And the reason why is because there are still pending notices of violation and uniform traffic citations that need to be processed pursuant to Florida law. For all of 2017, the officers have been going to court and having local hearings here at City Hall to finish up and wrap up all of the cases that are still pending, which is why the mayor had asked the question earlier this year about why are there still fees and why is there still money that's having to be paid for red light camera, and that is because the commission did not say we're going to stop enforcing the people that have run the red lights. The commission said we're going to stop issuing new tickets. That's the answer to the one question. So the city and ATF have still been operating under the same contract for all of 2017 because they're still pending tickets out there because they have to run their course. That's the answer to the first question. Let me finish.
Let me interrupt you before you go on to the second one. If that's the case, okay, these people already, or these pending cases, we already have the video of that. So why would the cameras have to stay on after already capturing the violation?
All right. So that's the answer to the second question. And I have the answer because I have the experience with this. My law firm represents multiple cities who have red light camera programs in Broward County, and I have historical experience with American Traffic Solutions as a company. They are a hopeful company, meaning even after you terminate your contract with ATS always hopes that you're going to renew your contract at some point. Case in point, the city of Pembroke Pines ended their contract with ATS on June 13th, 2013. And the city of Pembroke Pines went out to bid for new contract with a new vendor. ATS was one of the bidders, and the city of Pembroke Pines ended up choosing Redflex, a different company. So I've been working with Redflex on their new contract, setting up the new program, etc. And it's now 2017, and Redflex is ready to start setting up their cameras. And lo and behold, ATS's poles are still in the ground in the city of Pembroke Pines 4 years later because ATS was hoping that Pembroke Pines would sign them up again. So ATS has historically left their equipment in place because they hope that city will continue to use them or pick them up again. So the fact that it's only been, what month is this, 8 months? And, ATS left their poles in Pembroke Pines for 4 years. In ATS timeline, this is just a blip in time that they've left their things there, especially because we still have pending cases going on.
Okay,
so to me, it's nothing abnormal when it comes to ATS leaving their equipment there.
So ATS, they figure if they leave their equipment long enough, and hope that they get the recontract, will come back.
Yes.
Is that how that system works?
That's how ATS operates.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
That's what I've observed.
Incredible. Can you tell me what the cost that, and I had asked for some information. Obviously, I didn't get it. How many tickets that we have pending that need to be taken in front of a judge, and you couldn't give me that number?
Right. I don't have the new numbers.
Okay.
I got that question today. I did email the county clerk's office and ATS today. I wasn't able to get numbers. The last numbers I got were in April, and we had 5,519 active cases in April. So now we're in August, so it would be lower than 5,519.
Okay, and you also said that, and I asked you for a dollar figure, what it cost to pay you or your firm to go to court to fight these in front of a judge, and you couldn't give me a number.
I can't, because most of the time I don't go to court. The officers go alone. In 2017, I've gone to court, I think, 3 times. It might only be 2 times. These are traffic infractions. So the majority of the time I don't go to court. And the way that it's intended is for me not to go to court. I only go when there are objections and motions and things filed by the defense attorneys. But since we've...
And you've been 3 times since that?
Yeah. So far in 2017, I've been 3 times.
And how long did you spend in court in each one of those times?
Maybe 2 hours.
And what was the cost to the city for those 3 times?
Whatever our hourly rate is. I don't know, $195.
$195 an hour?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So, but the reason why I don't have to go to court anymore is because we won those appeals. So now there's no need for me to go.
Okay, let me just finish up, Mr. Mayor. I know where this is going. It's going to be a 3-2 vote. The cameras are going to get turned back on, whether you're for them or against them. But just let me start by saying I'm profoundly disappointed in tonight's discussion on the issue of the red light cameras. I have come to respect the ideas and opinions of others, and my fellow commissioners included, although not always in agreement with their arguments and ideology, are based on what they believe in for the betterment of Boynton Beach. For one cannot be adamant in his or her position on subject matter and then do a 180-degree reversal without fact or data to support that reversal. The statistics and facts reported by the Florida Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles show red light cameras increased intersection wrecks. The study shows the real facts and numbers. Let it be known, out of 39 municipalities making up Palm Beach County, Boynton Beach is the only one considering use in the red light revenue entrapment program. It was mentioned to me that we might be considered pioneers. I suggest we will be considered indecisive. Let me be clear. It's this commissioner's opinion that tonight's vote is not based on fact or ideology, but how ATS lobbyists infiltrated this commission to flip its stance on red light cameras for the sole purpose of generating ATS profits. I ask this commission to stand strong in not supporting to reconsider, but to turn on the lights on matters that make Boynton Beach all it can be. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Vice Mayor, you're next.
Yeah. I have no intention of changing my mind, so I will spoil the anticipation up front. We have voted on this now what will be 3 times. I have consistently supported this program for a variety of reasons. Again, the statistics on the wall are global statistics for the state of Florida that our own Sergeant Hawkins attested. There are some flaws in their calculations. I prefer to go with our local statistics in the city of Boynton Beach based on our local cameras. With regards to being the only municipality in Palm Beach County that use these cameras, and I could be wrong about this, but correct me if I'm wrong, Chief. Were we not the only municipality at one point to have body cameras on our police officers, or we were the first? We were not the first?
Beach.
No.
Somebody was the first.
Yeah.
At my point, I thought I had that one.
No,
My point is,
you tried.
My point is that someone always has to be the first, and at some point,
We're not the first.
a similar argument could have been used against the first municipality to put body cameras on their police officers. Similar technology, cameras that aid in the law enforcement process, protect our law enforcement officers. It's just, again, I've been consistent on this. I share in my fellow Commissioner Casello's disappointment, but my disappointment is approaching its 1-year anniversary when we had successfully renewed this contract and then saw it reversed a few weeks later. So I sympathize, empathize even, because I shared similar feelings in the past. But for a variety of reasons, I support this. The implementation of license plate readers cannot be understated. We do have a crime issue in the city of Boynton Beach. It is one of the #1 topics that is discussed and brought to our attention on a regular basis. Oftentimes, people commit crimes and then they disappear. Our police force is left to figure out these situations and try to track people down. Having a network of license plate readers will aid them in an invaluable way for making sure that when a crime is being committed that we have some record of it, at the very least the automobile that the perpetrators were in. I sympathize with those who do not support this program, but I think that in 2017 to say that technology is not the solution, time will tell whether or not that's an accurate statement or not, but I think time has already shown in the past few decades that technology tends to be the solution to a lot of problems. I want our officers to be enforcing the laws on a personal level, being out in neighborhoods. This frees up that manpower. Using capital, physical capital, to replace human capital means that human capital can then do a different job. And as Commissioner McCrae stated, I don't want our police officers sitting at red lights doing a job that a camera can do at a much lower cost relative to the human cost of placing our officers who are paid to sit on these corners. So I emphatically support this. I think it is the future. I think that we spent a long time defending this program in court, so much so that now other counties and other cities are starting to reconsider not having these based on our template. So I stand true to my statement that I believe we are trailblazers, and I intend to support this for all the stated reasons.
Would you like to speak or open it up to public comment first?
So, trailblazers, I don't know about that. I think we're more just holdouts.
My opinion.
Yeah, I think we're more just holdouts. But sitting up here, I remember the first time I heard these cameras presented in the contract for reconsidering the contract. I simply just looked at the facts that were being presented. I looked at the safety aspects of the cameras, and I was, it was beautiful. It was, yay, safety, all right, let's go for it. And I voted for that. Upon further consideration and realizing that this is more of a cash cow for the individuals involved, for the companies involved, for the lobbyists involved, for all of the palms that are being greased, the lawyers that are being paid, that's what this program, ultimately shovels down to become. In addition, what I also realized is that this program unequally targets individuals of minority populations, because they tend to be the ones who don't know how to fight these tickets, or they tend to be the ones who don't know necessarily what the rules are of stopping before the white line. So because they passed the white line, they get issued a ticket even though they stopped. So when you have all these different factors being put in place, and you consider all the different other things that have to be that our citizens, that our residents have to bear on their shoulders. One, they're paying the penny sales tax, so we have an extra penny that has been added to the sales tax. Two, we're now considering adding another $20 onto the fire assessment. Three, we're now adding another $1 to the garbage pickup fee. So now we want to go ahead and put this back on the tax rolls and put another burden on the taxpayers' shoulders to grin and bear in order to keep
This is not
things
a tax.
hot.
So
I let you talk,
you're
please.
intentionally.
Vice Mayor, I have complete and utter respect for you, please, but please do not do that to me. I respect you. I let you speak. Please show me the same courtesy. Please. I would really appreciate that. And I would ask for an apology, please.
Vice Mayor?
You're intentionally deceiving the public into presenting this as a fact or as a tax. Criminals pay tickets. Taxpayers pay taxes. I understand you're trying to make a point, but I
understand that you're going to go ahead and continue your point of view.
For pointing out your inaccurate statement.
You have to wait your turn.
You're apologizing for interrupting me while I was talking. That was rude. I would hope that your mama raised you better, but apparently not.
All right.
I should just lie then.
Feel free. Do what you gotta do.
What's going to happen is that commission, you can say your piece, but do not talk to each other, because it seems that you are unable to talk to each other.
I was more than happy to speak.
So,
I didn't
Vice
appreciate
Mayor,
being interrupted.
please, I'm going to make sure that everyone knows that one person has the floor. Commissioner Ramos, you have the floor. Please continue. I'm sorry. I will apologize for Vice Mayor interrupting you.
Thank you, Mayor. I appreciate that. Again, my point is we put a lot on the taxpayers' shoulders to bear. That may be a difference of opinion from my counterpart here, but I still feel that that is just one more way of creating revenue. And yes, part of it comes to the city to help create revenue for the city, but most of it goes to the pockets of ATS, goes to the pockets of lawyers, goes to the pockets of lobbyists. And I hear a common phrase when it comes to politics: follow the money. So follow the money, and that's where it leads to. It leads to these individuals that are profiting and racketeering off of this industry. And Boynton Beach, to go back to this, we've left this. This conversation was supposed to be dead, but apparently it's not. Apparently it's coming back, and it's sad and it's a shame that we have to be here. And Vice Mayor, I completely rationalize with you in terms of the aspects of this where safety is involved and putting our officers in better locations instead of sitting out and scouting people running red lights. I completely understand that, but I feel that there are other ways to do this, and that's where I stand, and that is my personal and humble opinion. Tallahassee at this point is ambivalent about their feelings on the red light cameras. They're going back and forth about it. There are so many people who are unsure about this program, and the fact that we're considering going back to it after we've left it is just it's strange. There's no words to put to it. I really don't understand why this was brought, especially by a colleague who on the when we were discussing this was adamantly opposed to it, and specifically, there were comments about individuals coming and saying certain things. I didn't hear from these individuals, so I'm not really sure who these individuals were that were coming and commenting on these things. And I represent District 3, and I know a lot of people in District 2, and I doubt that they are the very ones that came forward to ask for these red light cameras to be reinstated. So it's strange to me. I don't really understand what's happening here. I can see the writing on the wall. It's very disappointing, sadly, and that's really what I have to say for right now.
I'm going to open up to public comment because we got a big line. I'd like to, Shauna, can you put 3 minutes on the clock, though? Thank you.
Good evening. Jerry Taylor, 1086 Southwest 26th Avenue. I have been, as you know, a proponent for red light cameras from the very beginning when they first came about. And I want to say that as elected officials, I'm sure that you are aware, too, that one of your prime responsibilities is providing public safety to the residents that you are in charge of. That's one of your prime responsibilities. You're going to hear a lot of arguments tonight, and I've heard them, against the red light cameras. One of them are that other cities aren't doing it. Well, isn't it great that Boynton Beach would be a leader in public safety, take a leadership role in public safety? Never mind what other cities want to do, let them follow us. I hear about the red lights causing rear-end collisions. Well, I can tell you what causes rear-end collisions is reckless drivers and people who probably need a defensive driving course. They haven't had it. And I can see the statistics put up here to try and prove certain points, but you're talking about changing behavior of people who have constantly run red lights, and that you don't do that in 8 months. That's taking the public. You got to change behavior through a time. You talk about having extra police to do it. You could double your police force and you couldn't put a cop on every intersection 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to look for red light people. But you can put a camera there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week and catch these people. And if you red a red light, you break the law. You are breaking the law when you run a red light. And that is the only cash that's being involved is the lawbreaker has to pay. So you can talk about a cash cow. The cash cow comes from the people breaking the law. They're the ones that pay the money. The police are in big support of this program, and these are your frontline public safety people that have to get out and make it happen. And they're telling you that they need this. Besides just the simple red light, running the red light cameras, it's crime. They've shown you where it helps them solve other crimes. They've given you sets of that in the past. They've told you that. Public safety awareness, that's what red light cameras will bring about. It'll take some time, but it'll create public safety awareness. And I can tell you, if I could stand here and tell you that in 2 years from now, if you pass this, you would have saved 10 lives, you would say, boy, that was worth it. If I can tell you you would have saved one life, you could still say, gee, that'd be worth it, we saved a life. But I'm going to tell you what, I can't tell you that you'll save a life. And you know why I can't? Because if they don't run the red lights, they can't kill anybody. And you won't know how many people you prevented from running red lights by probably changing their behavior on how they drive. You may save lots of lives and never be aware of it. I just close by telling you it's your responsibility to take every tool available to you to provide public safety. Here's one, don't let it get passed.
Mr. Mayor, just for a point of reference, before the red lights were installed, 0 fatalities. Since the red lights, a camera has been installed, there's been a fatality every year.
Okay.
Good evening, Chris Montague, 222 West Ocean Avenue. I'm also the Vice Chair of the Citizen Library Advisory Board. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. It's my belief that programs like this are invasive and unconstitutional. And before I go any further, I do want to voice my disgust that a private company that you canceled a contract with continued to monitor the citizens of our city. There's too much room in these types of situations for misinterpretation and error. Believe it or not, there are valid reasons to run a red light, and I would definitely believe that there is an increase in rear-end collisions once people are aware that there's a light and they feel fear to slam on the brakes if need be. Furthermore, I think especially interesting to you, Commissioner McRae, is that the fee is $158. Minimum wage in Florida is $8.10. To a minimum wage worker, this represents 19.5 hours, almost half of a 40-hour work week. That's a pretty big financial blow. Now, I understand that you all care about the safety of the citizens and that you're not in this thing for a big cash washing scenario or a big money-making situation. However, this is a step too far. Also, if you are so concerned with the violation of running red lights, which is a moving violation, you need to understand how this program works. This degrades running a red light down to basically the same situation as a parking ticket, which is why you cannot go fight it and say it wasn't me driving the car. So if it's such a big issue, why are you going to lower its importance? I ask you all to protect the privacy and the rights of your citizens and not to allow private companies to monitor us. I understand that there may be some situations in which cameras can be helpful, but this is just opening the door to constant surveillance and giving up more and more privacy, which we are faced with every day. Finally, if the contract is indeed not reinstated tonight, which I hope it is, I would ask the company to remove their cameras as soon as possible. And if you're going to continue monitoring people via video, do it in-house within the city, not a company in Arizona that's profiting off it. And the last thing I'll add before I go, because there was a lot of excitement about some freebies, remember folks, when something is free, you're the product.
Good evening, Brian Cook, 935 South Northwest LaGrace Circle. I want to take a few minutes to speak about the red light program that has been proposed to be reinstated. I believe traffic laws are very important to our public safety, and I'm not at all for running red lights. What does concern me is how the enforcement of the law is being conducted. When the program first began, I was in support of it. I thought that they were run by law enforcement to keep intersections safe. That was until I noticed that lights timing were changing, and there's a camera in the intersection right next to my house, and pass through it almost daily. Noticed that the light time changed, dropped the yellow light about half to a full second shorter, and I received a notice of violation. Anyway, by receiving that, I learned more about the whole process about this, that the difference between a notice of violation and a citation, and it gives me three options to pay the city of Boynton Beach by way of Arizona. And I thought that was very strange to why I'm paying city of Boynton Beach in Arizona. But you can file, I guess, an application to appeal the decision. It's quite expensive, drawn-out process. There's a Florida statute written specifically for red light cameras, Chapter 316, which gives an avenue outside the court of law for this program to operate. They found that these do not hold up in the court, as it is the burden of the state to prove the offender was operating the vehicle and committed the offense. So now they have set up a system that mimics the legal system. However, the only one action they have to take is to put a block on the registered owner of the vehicle for any activity within the Department of Motor Vehicles, regardless of if that person was even in the vehicle during the violation. The hearings for these violations are then held not in a court of law, but in the Chamber of Commerce conducted by the city. This program is sold under the guise of public safety, and that for some reason our police department cannot monitor and patrol our intersections well enough, so we need to hire a private company to come in and do it for us. On the ATS website, they provide a lot of information ranging from how shorter yellow lights are actually safer and the economic benefits of red light cameras. Not the money from the violations, but the money not spent on potential accidents and the cleanup. They claim it is not for profit but for our safety, but the private Arizona-based company, American Traffic Solutions, that holds the contract and operates these red light cameras has recently been bought by a global investment firm called Platinum Equity. So I am here to believe that the international investors that do not live here and have no tax liability to our country are so concerned about our traffic safety that they have bought American Traffic Solutions to help keep us safe. And they are also so concerned that they have many lobbyists who donate hundreds of thousands of dollars in campaign contributions to vote for these programs. Now, I don't know how much has been donated to our council members, if any,
Would you please
have
wrap it up,
received,
sir?
but any favors from American Traffic Solutions. But I find it interesting that registered lobbyist for American Traffic Solutions happens to be Mr. McCrae's campaign manager, whom helped him get reelected. Also, Mr. McCrae's vote has changed from against to for the program, and happens to be very coincidental. Needless to say, I strongly oppose this program. It's all about the money and nothing about safety. I believe this is the first step in privatizing our law enforcement.
Thank you.
Turning it over to private corporations for profit-driven results.
Sir, you need to leave the podium. Your time is up.
Hi, I'm Christopher Edgerton. I've been a resident of District 2 for about 20 years. I think we'd all agree that public safety is paramount, probably the paramount most important issue that we've discussed so far today. But I did some research on my own. I learned about this from my grandmother earlier today, and I just came up here. I was studying in the library. I did some research. To piggyback off of something you said, they actually have a study available from fiscal year 2015 and 16. And kind of to comment on something the traffic officer, the sergeant, said about methodology and like uncertainty about some methods across the state. I don't think that's sufficient grounds to dismiss a study, because just like in surveys or public opinion polls or different things, there's always going to be holes in methodologies, but that's the best data that we have. And being that he didn't bring any data here for us to go ahead, or the city commissioners to make a decision based off of that, I think it's, for lack of a better word, reckless and imprudent. And also, just going off of what the commissioner said earlier, some of his points about the increases in rear-end traffic incidents. Just from the study, there was an 8% increase before red light collisions, well, running the red light, red light traffic incidents. There was a 100% increase, although the sample was only 10 incidents, so that's a very small sample. But correctly, the sergeant did comment on angle crashes. That did increase, but that's just one increase from the study and the data that we do have. And if, as the commissioner is correct, that everyone has their mind made up already and that you guys are going to actually vote to reinstate the traffic cameras, I just ask to mitigate the appearance of impropriety or improprieties going on, or anything that might be going on of that nature, that other measures be taken, such as increased lighting, signage, and restriping to kind of help as well. Like, if public safety is the point at issue here, I think other methods or avenues should be exhausted before or alongside this kind of measure. So, I agree with the helping law enforcement as far as like catching criminals with the license plate thing and the cameras, because sometimes, that helps a lot in solving crime. So I'm not ignorant of that, but that's all I have to say.
Cindy Falco Di Corrado, 316 Northwest 1st Avenue. Thank you for letting us speak. I'm going to share with you about the National Motorists Association and other organizations that oppose the speed cameras, and here are some of the reasons why. Slowed speeds, as was stated by Commissioner Casello, it causes more accidents because people slow down when they see the light. They're not sure if it's going to change, and so the response time, they just jerk on the brake. It's happened in front of me many times. I also, about the false readings. 1 second. It's a computer. It's like how many of your computers go off at home? How many of your computers go down? How many times do you have a glitch? We're in competition with the machine. We're not even talking to a human being. There's no evidence and proof that safety does work best with these lights. Oh, they might catch a lot of license tags, but how legit really are they? And here's the other. There's no accuser. I mean, we are, like I shared with you, we're being accused to confront a machine that could be a glitch, that could have been something else that transpired and it catches something in it. It's wrong. We are people. We're not machines. And Mr. McCrae, after hearing this information, it really disheartens me because it makes me sad, because I know that before you did stand against the red lights. And it is an impeachment and a burden on the people, the price for a ticket. And I'm like this gentleman said here, I appreciate what you said. It's against our Constitution, as well as it hurts the people. People don't want to do things illegally. Sometimes they might think if they stop short, the child in the back might get shoved to the front. So they go. It's a quick thought process. I used to deliver flowers. So for me, if I came upon it before it turned yellow and I had to make a decision, am I going to jerk on the brake and destroy all these flowers I got to take to a wedding? Or am I going to go through the light? What can I do? These are the circumstances that are, you can't, in a moment, you're thinking of what you can do to protect what you have, as opposed to, you know, getting the light and getting a ticket. And then when you're hit with a $182 ticket, I mean, that's food out of children's mouths. That's like we stated, like Commissioner Ramallah said. You're taking food off the table. You're hurting people, and especially in District 2. And I sat and I spoke to a lot of people at Unity in the community in regards to the red light and to the cameras. And this one lady said, it's unbelievable how many times they catch her car, and though she just rolled up on it or whatever. And she goes, I can't even feed my kids if I have to pay this. It's a burden. It's not fair. It's not done justly. I mean, the reason why accidents and police officers are out there is to look and see how the accident figured out what happened. There's witnesses that will tell you we do not need this. This is a waste, first of all, of our tax dollars, of our monies, and this is a waste of using what needs to be done in regards to police officers. Let's get more police officers. No, they don't have to sit on the street corner. They don't have. That's not their job. They need to go catch real criminals.
Please wrap it up. Thank you.
Woodrow Hay, Northwest, 427 Northwest 5th Avenue. I, too, was on this commission when the traffic lights, this subject came up and was discussed. And I voted for the traffic lights, and I still feel that way. I did say at that time that I felt that you would have an increase in the rear-end collision. I was proven wrong on that. That statistic did not go up. I just had several, at least two, incident at Congress Avenue and Boynton Beach Blvd. And I agree with Commissioner McCrae that it is a learned behavior. I think twice now before I go through an intersection. Even when I'm stopped and the light turns green, I pause because I know that someone could be going through that light. And on 2 occasions, I had it happen to me personally. Had I not, and I had my grands in the car with me, had I not hesitated, there could have been a T-bone. And I don't know if I lost my own life or my kids. So I feel that even if you save one life, it is worth it. We have had other cities to use the information that's been generated by the cameras that we have to help them resolve crimes that they probably would not have been able to solve before. I just feel that as far as the pulling up to the line, gee whiz, that's what that line is there for. You're supposed to remain behind the line, not before the line. So I just feel that we are doing the right thing. This is a learned behavior. It's going to take time. I have no problem with the other 38 municipalities not doing it. As a matter of fact, when I was go to the League of Cities and talk with other cities at that time when we were discussing this, they wanted to see what we were going to do in Boynton Beach, and they were going to follow. And they weren't going to be the leaders. And so when we eliminated those cameras, they didn't pursue that. I guarantee you now that we may institute those again. Keep your eyes open. Other cities are going to follow, okay? Because it does save lives. It's a learned behavior, and it's going to take time to really get it in their head. When you come into a traffic light, slow down, stop. When the light turns yellow, it doesn't mean go. It means if you can go, but stop. And that's what we need to get across to our citizens now. So thank you very much, Commissioner McRae.
Mr. Mayor, real quickly, there's a Senate Bill 178 and a House Bill 6007 up at the legislative level, and
Last year or this year?
This year.
They didn't pass.
And their idea is to get rid of red light cameras by 2020.
Those did not pass.
They're up for reconsideration.
They did not pass.
They didn't
Thank
pass,
you.
but they're up for reconsideration.
Yes, thank you. Yes.
Good evening, Gloria Goolsby, 327 Point Bay Circle. Commissioner Katz, I'd like to address you. I'm not a criminal, and I pay taxes. And I want an apology. I got a ticket for a red light. I was driving a company car. Did I pass a red light? No, I didn't. But that could have cost me my job. So I paid it. I had clients in the car at the time, and that particular month, I take care of 3 homeless families in this community. One family is a young lady who is 27 years old. She has a 2.5-year-old, 3 now, and she has a 10-year-old. I buy them groceries. They live in a car. I couldn't do that month. That was $214 that I could have spent on those 3 families that I take care of that live in our community, in the streets, behind a building. I am not a criminal. I worked for the police department, the New York City Police Department, for 5.5 years as a police administrative aide. I took the test for a police officer. I took the test for a civilian. They called me as a civilian first. After seeing some of the things that go on, I didn't want that position. Do we make decisions? Do we ask each other, hey, do you think that was a red light that person went through? What do you think? That happens. That does happen. We're not criminals. And everybody that gets a red light, that gets a ticket, is not a criminal. So I would ask that you apologize and that y'all's behavior on this podium would, come on. I'm not here to waste my time. And I would ask that you respect us as citizens. Thank you.
Debbie Lytle, 1008 Ocean Drive, Boynton Beach. I oppose the red light cameras. I think if the city wants to think about safety and they want to do plate readers or other things, we should maybe invest in something privately for that. I don't know how many red light cameras are in your district, Mr. McRae. How many juveniles and vandals and drug dealers and other people in District 2 are not going to be caught by red light cameras. I think we need police enforcement. I think you need to focus on real problems in your area and in the city of Boynton Beach, and I don't think it's red light cameras. I think it's an invasion, and that it's up to, as they said, speculation. Did you cross it? Didn't you cross it? Who did it? When did they do it? How did they do it? You know, did it lightning? Did this happen or that happen? I think you're off base on moving forward with this. As you say, you want to be trailblazers. Let's find an issue that we can trailblaze in Boynton besides red light cameras.
Mr. Mayor, City Commission, distinguished members of the audience, I am Rick Maharaj, RM Logitech, 1627 Satona Drive here in Boynton Beach. I have lived, worked, and played in our city for the past 21 years. I am for this program 100%. I urge every one of you and you to support this. Step one, shut the slide off. Step two, I don't want to talk about Tallahassee. Let's talk about Boynton Beach and what really goes on. We're number 3 in Palm Beach County. Let's act as though we're number 1 and pick it up a notch. Has anyone in this commission been on our streets at 1 o'clock in the morning and see a kid get thrown off a motorcycle? It's not good. Let's, you know, Big Brother's always watching, and sometimes it's good. I'm not only a supporter of this program, but I'm also a customer. Yours truly have gotten busted. I got a ticket, and I paid it, Mr. Katz. It's a good program. It coaches the good guys to be better, and it helps the bad guys to be better. I'll say it again. It's not about this. It's about coming together as one. I can stand here and talk for hours and hours about this. Get out on our streets 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and you'll see what I mean. Shut the slide off, and I'm going to try to maintain my professionalism every way possible. Please support this program. Fund it. You know, it's about technology, power in our city. Period. Thank you.
Flip a coin.
Good evening, Barbara Reedy, 329 Southwest 13th Avenue. I believe I heard the city attorney say that we've won every case that's gone to court. And I believe I heard the police department tell us that the cameras have helped solve crimes in our city. And I also believe I heard that most of the tickets are handed out to non-residents. So it isn't necessarily a punishment that the city residents are enduring. I also believe I heard that our Boynton Beach Police Department wants this. And generally, I'm in favor of whatever our police department wants. I like to think they're the good guys. I also find it quite ironic that we're having an enormous density increase forced upon us because we need the funds, and yet we're sneering at over $600,000. That's a pretty good chunk of change as far as I'm concerned. Let me finish by saying lawful drivers have nothing to fear from red light cameras. If it changes behavior and makes people slow down and not run through yellow lights, I'm all in favor of that. Thanks.
City Commissioners,
everybody in the audience. My name is Gerald Gumprecht. They call me Grumpy. And I'm grumpy because of this town, because I've lived here 68 years. I've been in this town. And up to the last 4 years, it's gone downhill. Some are working to make this town better. Some are not. We need the cameras. We have people from outside this country that have licenses that do not know how to drive. We have people from up north. They're 60 to 80 years old. I'm 70 years old that do not know how to drive. I know how to drive. I'm not going to go through a red light because it's a fine. I don't have the money to pay for my fines out of Social Security. It's my fine. But it's our obligation to stop these people going through the red lights and causing head-on collisions. I don't care about somebody grabbing me in my ass or bumping me in the ass. I worry about somebody's going to go right into me head-on and kill me, like my friend that was just murdered down the street here by somebody speeding, and he's walking across the street. That's no different than anything else. You go through the cameras, you pay it. You pay the price from going out Boynton Inlet and turning your boat over. You're responsible for the boat. You're responsible for your bills. And everybody here that's complaining about the bills are the ones that have gotten tickets. My brother has 3 of them. He says, vote against this bill. I think it should be. He went through it. He has dementia. How many of these people that do go through these lights have a problem? Drinking, drugs, dementia, all kinds of things. But the light stops these people from going into the area for a head-on collision. It ain't nothing to do with somebody hitting you in the ass. And we are the largest city in Palm Beach County. And we need to do something. There's a lot of other things we can do other than lighten up our water tower, but that's something different. But we need to have these damn lights put up all over the place to stop the elders that don't look up. All they're doing is looking ahead and go right through the headlights into somebody else's front of the car and killing them. And this does stop it. This up here doesn't mean shit.
Excuse me.
Because we're growing big time in this county.
You don't get any more
big time in this county.
Sir,
we have
please
more
step down
people here
from
in
the
the county
podium.
than we ever had.
Thank you. All right. Is there any more public comments? All right. As we can all know, agree that running a red light is wrong. There's no one who can say that running a red light is a good thing. And so that's kind of where I'm at, is that you can't say that running a red light is a good thing. Running a red light is a bad thing. And the question is that do we punish people who do bad things, or we do not punish people who do bad things? Is a $158 fine a big punishment? To some it is. To others it isn't. You know, and then who's to blame for the $158 fine? It's the state, because the city only gets $75. And if it was a $75 fine, I'm pretty sure half the people would say, well, it's only $75. But 83 of those dollars go somewhere else. 70 goes straight to the general fund for the Florida. So yes, the state of Florida is taxing you. Then there's another $10 that goes to the Department of Health, and then another $3 that goes to paralysis research, because there have been people who ran red lights in the past before the red light cameras and have been paralyzed. That's who Mark Wendell is. That's why it's called the Mark Wendell Safety Act. You know, as for the fact of that there's cameras on the roads, if anybody has a cell phone, there's a company that knows you're right here in the chambers right now. So the fact of the matter is that ATS has been providing footage to our police to help solve crimes. You know, are you saying that solving, using technology to solve crimes is a bad thing? That's no. Using technology to solve crimes is a good thing because that means our police officers are using their time efficiently. It's like it's okay if an officer with a body camera was standing at each corner, but not an automated, just a red light camera. It's the same thing. You know, one is on a person, one is on a pole. It's the same thing because then you could say the person saw you. And now we got the video. So that's kind of where I'm at, is that you can't say that running a red light is a good thing. You can say that, you know, if you run a red light and you know about it, that over 80% of the people don't do it again. You know, I'm one of those people that ran a red light. I got a ticket, and I know that. I paid it. The issue is that it's not the crosswalk; it's the white line before. So, you know, I see that we have a bunch of money for repaving and striping. I'll make sure that all the people know where the white line is, because if it's yellow and you enter into the crosswalk, enter into the intersection, which means your tires are on or over the white line, you have a duty to go. Or if you don't go through, there's the video of it. These are not still cameras. These are video cameras. And the ability to make Boynton Beach safer is what I'm for, because I'm tired of having a black SUV with tinted windows shooting up my neighborhood, and then that's the only description that we have. You know, we can review these intersections to see that black SUV, get a license plate, and solve these crimes where people are shooting up our neighborhood. You know, is it, you know, issuing a red light and solving, you know, shootings? I'm going to go on the side of solving shootings, and that's where I'm at. And so I'll let the commission, if they have any final comments, and then call a vote.
I'll start. Mr. May, if I understand correctly, what you're saying is you're in favor of license plate readers, which would help catch criminals that are in black SUVs that are shooting up your neighborhood. You're not talking about red light cameras. That's two different things, and if that's where you want to go, I'm all for that. I'm all for putting license plate readers up that could catch criminals, that could help us solve cases, that can help stop these criminals that are coming into our city and causing issues. And I believe that's what Commissioner McCrae spoke about as well. So we're talking, I feel, about two different things. I would be more than okay with paying money and investing the money to put in license plate readers and help keep our city safe. I feel we're all on the same page in terms of safety. What I'm against is putting in these revenue-generating police red light cameras that are really not, they're benefiting more than just, you know, trying to change behavior. And there's really no proof to see that there is changed behavior. The facts aren't really that clear. But I can see that we can help solve crimes. We can help stop murders. We can help fix situations if people know that if they're going to be driving through Boynton Beach, they're probably going to have their license plate put on a live video camera that can catch them, and we can go after them after they act. So I'm all for that, and I would be more than willing to put up a motion to ask for us to table this item about red light cameras and actually go and talk about more so license plate readers and funding that.
So, is there a second for that motion to table?
Second.
All right. All those in favor state so by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed state so by saying nay. Nay. Table is denied 32.
Mr. Mayor, if I just a couple quick closing.
Vice Mayor was next.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's getting kind of hammered down there tonight.
No. I will issue one apology tonight. I apologize to you, ma'am, for the use of the word criminal. I should have rephrased it differently. I should have said people who run red lights have committed a crime. I don't want the negative connotation of criminal to be painted on people who have made honest mistakes. They thought it was yellow, it was red. So to that, I apologize. But nevertheless, the fact of the matter is we've heard a lot of arguments tonight, some more valid than others, some, to be honest, are ridiculous. We've heard that these cameras are racist. We heard that these cameras are socioeconomically oppressive. We heard that if you are a small business operator and you drive a van through the city and there's risk of property damage to your cargo, you should run a red light and potentially murder another human being. I mean, it's literally what you said. You chose your flowers over the hypothetical person. So, to my point, there are some valid arguments. There are some absurd arguments. I think the bottom line, again, is that, one, these do improve public safety. Two, they are absolutely supported by our police force, and I think that they are the experts on this matter and its potential benefit to the city and to our residents. I find this whole exchange today ironic, because nobody seemed to have a problem when a year ago a vote was flipped. Nobody raised an eye. Nobody in this chamber questioned that person's integrity. There was a fight over the argument, but then today, all of a sudden now, somebody changing their mind and presenting an argument based on statistical fact, is being painted in a way that's unsavory. The irony here that we voted for this, a month later, someone on this commission flipped their vote, and now we're sitting here debating on whether or not flipping a vote is fair. If it had never happened in the first place, there would have been a pure, clean vote. This would have been done with. I do not enjoy this. Somehow tonight I have come out looking like the villain because I have pointed out that willfully deceiving the public is a bad thing. And I will never apologize for that. I am up here to represent the people and to speak the truth. I do not care about my future. A re-election means nothing to me if I have to sell my integrity and my votes to get your votes. I will vote based on the facts, and I will do that until my last day, whether that's 2 years from now or 5 years from now. So again, I am in favor of this program. I think that like any radical change, this is a radical change. People are not enforcing this law directly on the streets. A machine is, even though they are then reviewed by people. But it takes time for people to embrace positive change. And if you've received a ticket from this, I'm sorry, but again, you broke the law. And the arguments that people who break the law, who have tough personal situations, who are honestly not aware they broke the law, we can't start subjecting people to the law in a varying degree based on their income level, based on whether or not they were in a rush or there was a reason to run a red light. If there's a reason to run a red light, you can explain yourself after the fact, and you could probably justify paying the ticket. Maybe you're pregnant and in labor. Literally happened to my mother with my brother. So if she ran that red light, she got pulled over, she got a ticket, she paid the ticket, and went and gave birth to my brother. That is a true story, hand to God. So if you've got a valid reason, people will excuse your infraction with a valid justification, but that does not excuse your liability to the justice system. So again, I'll stop there. I'm not gonna win any friends by continuing this speech. I see that. So again, I intend to vote in favor of this, as I have last September, as I had the previous month in August.
Commissioner Casello.
Yeah, real quick, I'm going to read that statement one more time. Cameras are designed to change behaviors, reduce violations and collisions, and not generate revenue. City of Boynton Beach, $631,561. ATS, every month, folks, $637,000 every month to ATS. And make no mistake about this, my hat's off to you, ATS there. You can leave polls up for 4 years in the hope that you're coming back, and that's great. Real quickly, listen, let's be honest here. Let's we can talk about safety issues up here, red light cameras, pros and cons and everything. It's just a little bit concerning in how we got here tonight, okay? And I'm going to say this, Mr. McCray, you were adamant against these 6-8 months ago, and tonight you've changed your mind for various reasons. I just think the perception, and whether it be true or not, that your campaign managers and ATS lobbyists, okay, and you say that he didn't lobby you, I take you on your word for that, but it's hard to get over that, wrap my head around that. So with that being said, as George Orwell once said, 1984, Big Brother is watching you. We know where this vote's going to go, so let's get it on and get it over with.
And I'd like to say one more thing.
Commissioner Romulus, I'll give you one final.
Sure.
Commissioner McCray?
Thank you. I was the one that brought this up, and I sat through all the statements and everything, and Commissioner Romulus made the statement that this does not change behavior. It changed mine. I got 2 tickets. It changed mine. I brought this up because, like I said before, I'm home in the daytime. I'm watching the behavior of the drivers here in this city. I almost got hit Monday morning right here at Boynton Beach Boulevard, making a left on my way to Dunkin' Donuts. And former Mayor, hey, I appreciate what you said, sir, because if I would have pulled out in the intersection, he would have gotten me. I guess he was late for work, sir. I don't know how I got in predicaments where it seemed like I would have gotten hit. This is the reason I brought it back up. And anybody's going to say whatever they want to say. You know, I sit up here to represent the citizens in District 2. I am still representing them. And we are trying to get a control on crime in that area. And what is going to have to take place, if this goes back in, then we'll move to the next stage. Thank you. They called me in the morning time saying that we have a shooting. That shooting's over here. What are you doing about it? They don't call you all. You all be asleep. I'm the elected official. I'm not apologizing to be the elected official. I am glad. I serve my constituents, the ones that call me. Thank you.
Mr. McCray, you serve all the citizens of Boynton Beach. You just happen to be elected from the District 2.
Commissioner Romulus, you'd like to add a comment?
Just don't call my integrity into question. I don't appreciate that, Vice Mayor Katz. I make my votes up here. I truly speak for the intention of the residents. I've received several emails and several phone calls this past week regarding this, and I was not up here. And just like you, I don't care about re-election. I have a beautiful life outside of politics. I'm not here trying to garner votes. I'm here because I really do feel passionately about this issue, and this is how I feel. So the fact that you feel that you have to question that and say something in that regards, I had more respect for you than that. I believe that we had a better friendship than that, but I don't know. That's kind of strange to me.
All right. As I'll say it again, is that you can't say that running a red light is a good thing. It is a bad thing. And that's it, is that you can't
we get it. Let's go.
And so, may I have a motion to approve?
Mayor,
Yeah.
I would like to make it clear for the record what exactly the commission is voting on. There's been a lot of discussion going around, and I want to make sure that the commission is on firm ground with regard to what is happening here. Commissioner McCray brought this back on a motion to reconsider.
Right.
So what is before the commission, and the item that is before the commission is what was before the commission in August of 2016 and what was before the commission in September 2016. And that is whether to cancel the ATS contract or extend the ATS contract. The decision that the commission made in September of 2016 was to cancel the ATS contract. So the commission is now reconsidering that decision. The commission can either stay the course and maintain that decision to cancel, or the commission can reconsider that decision and change your mind and extend the ATS contract. So that would mean directing the city attorney and the city administration to rescind the cancellation letter and exercise the city's option to extend the contract. So that is the exact same contract that has always existed. It's the contract that we have been operating under for all of 2017. There are no changes to the contract. There are no amendments. There is no license plate recognition. There is no changes. There are no bonuses. There are no additions. None of these add-ons that were discussed today in commission chambers, none of that, no freebies and fun stuff is added. Whatever was discussed and before the commission on the agenda item that's attached, and the exhibits that are attached to the agenda item today, which are the same exhibits that were attached in 2016, is what the commission is voting on today. If the commission wants to consider other things next month, next year, you can, but that is the item that the commission is voting on today. So you're either voting to keep things the way they are, or you're voting to extend the contract as you would have in 2016.
So this contract, there's no renegotiation of this contract. It either starts up again as it was, and we continue it, or we vote it down. That's what you're saying?
Correct. If you want to renegotiate it, you can at another time, but that is not what is before the commission tonight.
Thank you.
And so the reinstating of the contract, what would happen next?
We would have to remobilize. So you would be, as it says in the agenda item, you would rescind cancellation of the the contract. The city attorney's office would notify ATS of the decision. I have already reached out to the ATS attorney to find out if the commission decided to do this, would ATS be willing to do that? And ATS said they would accept our rescission letter. And then we would just remobilize the staff, and then the officers would begin issuing notices of violation again.
On what date?
That would be, we'd have to determine that.
Based upon the contract, because in the contract, there's a one-time 45-day notice where people would get... That's passed already, because that would require them installing their poles and their cameras, which they don't need to do. So it's just a remobilization of the ATS staff, the city staff, and then remember the city pays on a monthly basis. So we would just need to work with the ATS staff to establish a firm date of when it would start. Okay.
So all this discussion of license plate readers and whatnot, where does that come into play?
It does not. Because remember, in September and August of 2016,
so they're
there
not
wasn't.
bound to uphold these agreements that they've made.
What agreements? Right. There was no. There
is no agreement.
Exactly.
No. They said it's possible.
Whatever was in August and September of 2016 is what is before you tonight.
So again, I would like to put a motion to table this item and get back to it.
Defeated. Can't do it again.
Whatever.
I would like to offer a motion, since it's mine that I have brought back up, to rescind the cancellation letter that we did prior.
Second.
All those in favor state so by
Can we
saying...
have a roll call, please?
Sure. Right.
I have one more question also before we continue. Is it possible to go out to RFP and have someone else place a bid and see what other possibilities are out there instead of just going solely with ATS?
That is an option.
Good.
Have something on the table, and it's been seconded, so...
Discussion.
You want to have a discussion now?
Well, someone seconded that motion?
You did.
His motion, not the...
So do you
I
rescind
didn't make a motion yet.
There was no motion for RFP. So if you rescind your second, then you can make a motion for RFP.
Second Commissioner McRae's motion.
All right. And we've been requested for a roll call. Aye.
Yes.
Aye.
No.
All right. Thank you.
I would still like to make my motion now to go out to RFP to consider other options for this red light camera program.
Does that need a second?
It would need a second. However, we agreed to it, and we just approved an exclusivity agreement with ATS. So you guys were a little late with that. You should have done it at the beginning.
I tried.
All right.
He already had the motion on the table.
Yeah.
It's fine.
So we're moving on to discussion and direction regarding regulations for medical cannabis dispensaries. Some water.
Ready?
Yep, I'm ready. I think Joe's in the bathroom, so we're going to move on.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Commissioner. Andrew Mack, Director of Development. The item we have before you today is a discussion and direction on medical cannabis dispensary regulations. Obviously, at our we previously had this item before you, and now that we've had action by the state, we need some more direction as far as what to do with those regulations. I do have a short presentation. If Terry could bring that up for me, please.
We'll let you know when public comment starts.
Sorry.
Yeah, you can sit down and we'll let you know. Okay.
We're waiting for the projector. I think it's timed out, so I guess we'll wait for Commissioner Casello.
All right. Is anyone okay with a 5-minute until so we can wait for the projector?
Might as well.
All right, motion for recess for 5 minutes. Ready.
All right. The city clerk's also going to have some available if she gets out in time. Also on your dais, you'll have a copy of a zoning map that's also up there, and there's some in the back of the room as well. That would be part of the presentation as well. So first, I'd like to talk about what actually the state did and the preemptions that they placed in the state statutes. The first one, which is the city is not allowed to place specific limits on the number of dispensaries. The second was the city cannot enact regulations that would restrict locations or permit requirements any more restrictive than what would be placed on pharmacies. Also, the city cannot charge a fee greater than what they would charge for a pharmacy as well. And the last thing the state preempted was the location of dispensaries can be no more than 500 feet of an elementary school, middle school, or secondary school unless the city commission would approve that at a public meeting. So with those preemptions and the work that we did previously with the ordinance, now we are left with basically three options. The first being that we would add dispensaries to the LDRs and not make it more restrictive than what we require on pharmacies. That would be option one. Option two would be to add dispensaries to the LDRs, while we also would be amending regulations for pharmacies, which could further implement restrictions. And then the third option would be to ban dispensaries in the city. A part of the presentation there, you have a current copy of the zoning matrix that shows where pharmacies are allowed in the zoning districts. So currently you have them allowed in the C1, C2, C3, C4, CBD, PCD, SMU, MUL1, MUL2, MUL3, MU4, mixed use high, and PID. These are all permitted uses currently in the zoning matrix. And if you look at that matrix, you also have footnotes that also add regulations to pharmacies and the location requirements. In the presentation, I do have some of the notes that are specific to the location or to the size or any requirements for pharmacies. Just briefly go over some of these notes and point out some of the items. Number one, in a C1 district, which is, I believe it's community commercial, a pharmacy cannot exceed 5,000 square feet. In a C2 zoning district, they cannot exceed 10,000 square feet. And in the PID, they have to be integrated into a mixed-use building or into the mixed-use development. They cannot be more than 50% of the gross floor area of a building, 20% of a gross floor area of a development. Mixed use and general note 17, similarly, integrated into a mixed use building or development, cannot be more than 50% of the gross floor area and cannot exceed 30% of the gross floor area of a development. Also with general note 17, you have in mixed use low 1, 2, and 3, they're only allowed on lots fronting arterial and collector roads. General note 27, you have allowed in mixed use land use fronting on arterial and roadway. Also, if there's a development order not solely for residential development. And then you get to one of our restrictions, which specifically related to the pharmacy and drugstore. All districts, no more than 15% of prescriptions sold within 30 days can be Scheduled 2 controlled substances. They have to be staffed by a licensed pharmacist and present during all pharmacy open hours open for business. And mixed use 4 and mixed use high, there is a distance separation of 750 feet for pharmacies less than 5,000 square feet and 1,500 for ones greater than 5,000 square feet. So those are the existing regulations that we have in the LDRs, and that would be what we'd be looking at if we were to allow them or just add them in option 1. As part of option 2, we could look at adding dispensaries to the LDRs and further regulate pharmacies. Just wanted to point out some of the things that we would be looking at if we were to do option 2. One would be to inventory each location of the pharmacies and their operations. Review the proposed regulations related to not creating a non-conforming use. Study the potential economic hardship on existing or any future pharmacies. Study impact for proposed regulations to not create a shortage in pharmacies related to future demand. And then review the conflict of proposed regulations against state statutes and administrative rules. So based on those three options, and then the last option obviously is the ban, staff looked at these different options and what we're recommending based on some items. Number one, the fact that allowing the dispensaries in the zoning districts that we currently have on the books would preclude us from any future regulating any of the future dispensaries that we would approve, or that ones that could come in, we wouldn't be able to regulate them in the future. Number two, the state does preempt us in some of the operational issues that are inherent with a dispensary. And then the third, currently under the state statutes, the dispensaries are allowed to do home delivery to patients that they currently would have. So based on those items, staff's recommending a temporary ban, and kind of to do a wait and see to see how this emerging industry is now to be regulated in the future. It's trying to get a better understanding on what would be needed when we do the regulations. So currently staff is recommending that we would ban it temporarily, and we could pick this item back up within 6 months or a year from now and take a look at what we would want to do.
Andrew, what are you hoping for when you say take a look at what's coming down? It's not going to change up in Tallahassee.
Well, I'm looking at
the only thing that might change up there is there's a lawsuit out there now of being able to smoke the product, but the regulations, they're not going to change the regulations up there.
Correct. I think
So what would be the benefit of waiting 6 months or a year?
So one of the things that we would look at is potentially you have other cities and see how they react. Obviously, the county currently is looking at adding dispensaries to their zoning districts. I know, I believe in August and in September they'll have that item before the county commission. We could have a dispensary as close as Military and Boynton Beach Blvd in one of their retail centers. We obviously have Lake Worth that has dispensaries that are going in. So I think we're looking at to see holistically how they fit into the county and how many if we would want them. That's basically what we're looking for from you.
Well, over 70% of the people voted for this.
Correct.
I'm all for it. I don't think we need a ban 6 months, a year. I think the people have spoken, and I think it's incumbent upon us to put implement it.
And I think even at our previous meetings, people, it obviously is a point of discussion as far as, with our current opioid crisis that's going on, something that you may want to think about whether it's something that could get to that point. Also, obviously they have the point of the public who need the medicine that they need it now. So I believe that the fact that they do have the home delivery does allow that person to get the medicine that they need, and it allows us time to be a little bit conservative. I think by opening it up to all the zoning districts, there is a possibility that you could have quite a few in the city.
Well, it was said earlier tonight that we take great pride in being a pioneer out there, a leader, so maybe this is another chance to show our leadership.
Understood.
My question is that we can require that a pharmacist at all of the dispensaries?
No, it wouldn't be a pharmacist. It would be whatever the state requires as far as who runs the pharmacy.
That's our pharmacy rules requires a pharmacist.
But they wouldn't be subject to the pharmacy rules because I think it specifically says in the state statute that they're not required to be licensed under 465.
No, I understand that, but I was looking it up online, and in Connecticut, pharmacists are required to be on site when they dispense drugs. I feel that is something that we would need to have because this is a drug, and people may be doing other, legal prescribed drugs by a pharmacist. And so unless there's a preemption that requires that no pharmacist is there on a medical marijuana dispensary, I think that we can put a pharmacist in ones that want to open it up in Boynton Beach.
In the state statute, it specifically calls out that the licensed treatment center or dispensary are not regulated under 465 or 499. So it may be a legal interpretation that we have to get.
You cannot require a pharmacist to be at the dispensary. You're not permitted to. The city is not permitted to do so.
But isn't that counteractive of that we can't?
But these aren't a pharmacy. We would have to add them. We would have to add this use to the zoning, to the definitions, to allow it into the city. So it wouldn't be a pharmacy. It would be a medical cannabis dispensary if you were going to add it. It just couldn't be regulated more than what a pharmacy is.
No. I understand. And so we require a pharmacist at a pharmacy, correct?
Current city regulations for pharmacies, yes, we require a pharmacy.
And so that is our requirement. And they're saying we are requiring the medical marijuana dispensary, even though it's not governed under the pharmacy rules, that a board-certified pharmacist has to be there. It doesn't necessarily have to be a Florida pharmacist, but it says a board-certified pharmacist. I think
I understand where you're going. I think the fact that I don't know the exact term in the state statute. They have a medical, the term for medical director is what they use, is the person that would be required to be there during the operation. So it would be equivalent to a pharmacist. I mean, at this point, the state requires the medical director.
What is how does someone get a medical director's license?
A person who holds an active, unrestricted license as a pathologic physician under Chapter 458 or osteopathic, sorry for the terms, osteopathic physician under Chapter 459. Yeah, it'd be a doctor.
Osteopathic physician is there.
Yes. It's to call the term, to be qualified for a medical director, that's what they define it as.
A DO.
I like the effort. I do. I appreciate that.
I still think we should have a pharmacist there.
Yeah, I think the point is that we're not, with the new legislation, we are not permitted to require a pharmacist at a medical dispensary.
But it says on one thing that says it's where this restrictions is no greater than our pharmacy. This is not a restriction greater than our pharmacy.
I mean, if the discussion is to bring it back, that we can look into that. We'll get a legal interpretation from the state and from the city attorney.
I'm telling you, you can't.
Okay, there you go.
There's your legal interpretation.
There's your legal opinion.
Thank you. What explain? Okay, so Shauna, I guess you're going to have to give me the clause.
So I researched it during the legislative session because I was asked the question back then, and you can't. So the reason that when you looked up the situation in Connecticut and you found that is because it's specifically prescribed in the Connecticut statute. The way that it is in Florida is that they're running parallel. So you have in Florida the pharmacy statute and you have in Florida the medical marijuana statute. And so yes, it's saying that you can't have any restrictions that are any greater than the restrictions or regulations for a pharmacy, and that is running parallel to the medical marijuana statute. And the osteopathic physician has to be approved pursuant to the regulations and restrictions of the medical marijuana statute, and it's all from one source. So you're getting approved and licensed and authorized by the state through that source and through that process, and it is running parallel to what would be a pharmacy or a pharmacy process. That's what they're saying. So we can't restrict them any more than we would restrict a pharmacy, but that doesn't mean that we can say a pharmacy has to have a pharmacist, so a medical marijuana dispensary must also have a pharmacist. It's a parallel, but not a lateral transition.
So can we require that a full-time osteopathic doctor has to be on the premises while it's being... Because it says that they need a medical license, but if they're not there, that's really no point. So I would require somebody with medical knowledge to be at the dispensary at all times.
I think it would probably be okay because it's not in conflict with state statute. So I think that might be something that we could add to the ordinance.
Okay.
If that's the direction that we get.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever we do, we'd have to bring back to you a change to the ordinances, so we can make sure that that's something.
It's, the question, it's not like we can have a nurse there or something like that, because we don't require pharmacies to have nurses there. But if they say allow us to have is the medical license to open up a dispensary is an osteopathic doctor, I think we should require that an osteopathic doctor is there at all times. And I guess is that what you looked up as well, Shauna?
I didn't look into that part. It's
Okay.
whatever. I defer to Andrew on that, because he definitely looked that part up. For his
All right.
presentation.
Mr. Mayor, what is your concern that we'd want to have a doctor there all the time?
This is a drug. Because it is not a plant. This is a manufactured substance. It is only oil or an ingestible item.
Senator, as the law reads now, the state, they just have to have a director, correct?
Correct, which is defined as the two doctors that I mentioned previously.
Right. So
that's what the definition of a medical director.
We're going to try to add on to that to say that not only a director, but a doctor also.
Well, that to write a script, Andrew, versus running a dispensary, the statute doesn't.
Yeah, you can't be more restrictive than the statute.
Well, that's where I'm going with this.
Yeah, we can't have
you
any
need to be a DO to write a script, but I don't
not
know
to
that
dispense.
Right, I don't know that there has to be.
There's a difference between writing a prescription and dispensing the prescription. And so whatever Andrew has drafted so far is consistent with the statute's regulations for dispensing.
We have a dispensary here right now.
I guess take a look into that, because so you're saying it's low, a retail position who dispenses under no sort of surveillance? Are we required to, we were talking about surveillance cameras and safes. Are we allowed to require those anymore?
There are some items in the state statute that does describe surveillance and 24-hour security and cameras. There are some of that in the state statute currently that we could include, that it's not preempted by the state, as long as we're consistent with the state statute.
You also make pharmacies conditional in all locations, or?
It'd be hard for me to answer. I may need to look at that a little bit more in depth to see I don't know about the pharmacy, but maybe the medical director, which would be the.
Well, not so regarding our permitted use for everywhere a pharmacy can go, can we change that to conditional so that any new pharmacy would have to get approval by the board?
Yes, we could make that change.
All right. Can everyone agree that?
What would be our grounds for denying one pharmacy over another?
Well, I'd still like them to come in front of us and tell us what they're doing.
Just so you know, I mean, depending on what changes you make in the, if you're going that direction to add dispensaries and amend the regulations for the pharmacy, that's something that we will have to do in a little bit more in depth. Like I said, any regulations that we put on it, we would need to do more of a study and an impact to make sure that we're not impacting current pharmacies or regulating them out of the future.
Andrew, is this pharmacy, the language that we talk about, does that include like the pharmacies that are in like Walmart and Publix?
All pharmacies.
All
Anyone
pharmacies.
That's any pharmacy defined as in state statute 465 and that was one of the reasons why we looked at the ban, because it gives us time. We can bring this back in some future time, but also currently, like I said, that you have dispensaries in Lake Worth, you have potentially some here that could be in the county, and the fact that you can still receive the medical marijuana through an online. You can go to any one of the dispensaries, which are all over the state, and you can sign up and have a home delivery service. They have home delivery service.
So if we don't have a dispensary, residents can get it through a home delivery service.
Correct. And there's specific regulations in the state statute on how the home delivery or the delivery services would operate. But again, I think I'm sensitive. I think Commissioner Romulus mentioned, having known people that need this medical medicine. And I believe that at least by allowing it to do the home deliveries, people can still achieve that, even if we do the ban. Again, it is.
I'm not okay with the ban, but try to create whatever regulations we can.
I don't know if Chief Gatz wants to weigh in on any of this, if you want to hear.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention, Jeff Katz, Police Chief, I just wanted to mention that with respect to law enforcement, the state has not issued guidance for law enforcement with respect to how this is going to play out from a public safety standpoint. I understand there's a patient registry program that's supposed to be implemented where law enforcement personnel will be able to verify a prescription, for example, of medical marijuana. We've yet to establish that registry or a contact person within the department. We've yet to get guidance from the state with respect to how we're going to manage this process, which seems to be evolving fairly rapidly. From a public safety standpoint and from a law enforcement standpoint, I think it would be prudent for us to pause and make sure that we get the proper guidance from the state with respect to how we are going to enforce this, because at this point, we just don't have the capacity to be able to verify that someone does or does not have a legal prescription for the substance. The mayor has asked me how we would enforce, for example, someone with oils. At this point, we wouldn't be able to. So if somebody said they had a prescription, then we would have to just take them at their word for it. That is potentially problematic from a public safety standpoint, and I did want to just bring that to your attention from the law enforcement perspective, not from the zoning perspective.
So, who's Commissioner Casella? Does the board want to open up to public comment?
Sure.
All right, public comment.
Chris Montague, 222 West Ocean Avenue. I just want to weigh in. I think the conversation that we're having here is just a drop in the beginning of a waterfall that's coming your way. We don't need to wait around and look at other cities, because other cities across the country have done this. Our neighbors to the north in Canada have just completely legalized marijuana medicinally, recreationally. The majority of Americans and Floridians prefer legalization medicinally and probably recreationally. It's an opportunity to create a huge tax revenue. I do agree with you all that you need to have some sort of control on it, but I would hesitate to advise you to ban it. As Casella said, you guys are so excited to be the trailblazers, but here it is, a progressive option for our young Board of Commissioners. So don't miss a chance to actually be progressive on something and be the first in something other than ticketing people at red lights. Thank you.
Alice Warren, 146 Sausalito Drive. Well, I wasn't planning to talk about drugs. I came here to talk about libraries and very nice things. But I want to tell you that I lived in San Antonio, which is very close to Denver. Let me tell you, I wish you'd all look up Denver and the drug issues that they're having up there. When you let in medicinal marijuana, you are opening a can of worms, because eventually there's going to be the legalization of, recreational drugs. And let me tell you what's going to happen. You're going to have every deadbeat coming into Florida. It's a warm, nice place. In Denver, they all went into Denver. They're all in the parks, lying around, smoking pot. The traffic accidents are out of sight. These are statistics that are right on. The children are in the hospital emergency rooms because they ate all the candy that are laden with marijuana. You can picture what's going to go on. Just go read about Denver. It is a horror. You can't drive there. They're all potheads. It's unbelievable, and it's a curse on any community. So I say I would go very cautiously, and the state too, because it's a horror, an absolute horror, and it leads to hardcore drugs. And that's my opinion. I just feel that the parks will be filled with all these derelicts, particularly in the winter. Everyone's going to end up down here. And I really have to tell you, I think it's a very bad thing. I really do, and I think it's bad for the country.
I just add, I grew up in the late 60s and 70s, and I think I turned out okay.
It's okay, but it's a different, you're dealing with a different population of youth now. They don't have jobs. The college campus is a little crazy. I think it's a bad, bad time in our society, and that's my opinion.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Stacy Ryback. I reside at 129.
Excuse me.
The microphone.
You got to lift it up a little bit.
There you go.
I reside at 129 Harbors Way in Boynton Beach. I happen to know someone who had a thriving business here in the city of Boynton Beach for many years. Her daughter had cerebral palsy and had 50 seizures a day. 50 seizures a day. Her quality of life was nothing until they sold their business, moved to Colorado. She has 0 seizures. I follow her on my social media, and she goes to birthday parties now, and her life has changed 100%. Obviously, there's some concern, and I'm concerned too about it being used for other purposes other than medicinal. But consider the people that are laying on their deathbed, okay? Parkinson's disease, it stops tremors. I've seen it, I've read about it, I've seen it. I'm just saying, maybe it'll keep some people off the opioids, which is a bigger problem here. Thank you.
All right. Seeing no more public comment, I'd like to go back to our options. Option 1.
I'm in favor of option 1, Mr. Mayor.
And there's no requirements and it's permitted in every commercial area.
Correct.
Okay. There's option 2, which is add dispensaries to LDRs while amending the regulations for pharmacies to implement further restrictions. That is what I'm in favor for. I'd like to see that it's a conditional use. Basically, we can say that there's too many dispensaries because we know that sometimes there's too many group homes in certain locations.
Sorry.
Yeah.
There's one. I don't think you can limit the number. It's specific in state statute.
I understand that, and so it will be up to staff to see if there's any reason.
Right. You on a case by case, you may be
case by case basis, and I'm sure that if we ever have to go to federal court, we'll win because federal court does not agree with the state court. And so that's where I'm at. And then the last is the banned dispensaries in the city. So we got 1 vote for 1, 1 vote for 2.
I'm in vote for no options, okay? Thank you.
So that's 3.
I don't like discussing marijuana.
All right, so we're going to
I've worked in
actually
the
have you as a
60s.
0 then. Commissioner Romulus, Vice Mayor.
Granted the possibility I might be labeled a lack of integrity here for changing my mind, I'd have to say that I'm actually leaning towards option 3 here, which is to ban this. I do not like where Tallahassee feels that they can tell us what to do here in Boynton Beach. So I was definitely okay with 1, maybe 2 dispensaries, but now that we have we can't stop them. We can't tell them how many to put, and that means we can end up with 10, we could end up with 1,000. I mean, that's a little bit scary for me. I don't want these facilities all over the city. So if that's the case, if we don't have any jurisdiction where we can say we don't want this in a certain place or whatnot, then I'm not for that. So I'd rather ban it than to allow for just free for all for these dispensaries to be all over the city.
All right, Vice Mayor.
Yeah, just a couple of comments. I mean, this was put to a vote. We labor over decisions in here all the time. People come and speak. How many people support this? How many people don't support this? Without a referendum, we never know. But we had a referendum for this. And not just a majority, but a super majority. Over 70% of the voters who cast ballots supported this. With regards to the concerns that the proliferation of medical marijuana will lead to some hippie Woodstock, drug fest, I can confidently say that I'm of the belief that anyone in the city of Boynton Beach or any other city in the United States who wants to smoke marijuana right now is smoking marijuana. They're doing it illegally, but they're already smoking marijuana. This law, to my belief, as far as I know, is not available for public consumption. People cannot lay out in public or walk down the streets and smoke marijuana. Is that?
I believe that's accurate, yes.
So I understand the concerns. I'm not of the belief that marijuana is on the level of most, if not all, the other illegal substances. So in the vein of remaining consistent on my vote, I support allowing option 1, dispensaries with no restrictions. I think that the reason why the legislators in Tallahassee crafted these options the way they did is because they did not favor medical marijuana. It was passed by the voters, so this is their way, just like it also says that you can't smoke medical marijuana. These are just laws passed by people who are obstructionists to the will of the actual people. They want you to be forced with the decision we are tonight, to ban something without regard or to allow it without regard. And since it's supported by the people, scientifically proven to support, improved health conditions for a variety of people who suffer from said conditions. Again, I support option number 1 in support of Commissioner Casello's position as well.
And as stated before, I do agree with the fact that, there are definitely uses for medical marijuana, and I do believe that we need it. And when the options are presented where possibly our neighbors to the north and south may have dispensaries and the county might create dispensaries, and there are also options for home delivery, I believe that also says that we don't necessarily need to have it right here in the city in the Boynton Beach, where again the proliferation of it can go unchecked. That's my issue. My issue is our inability to exercise our ability as a city to say what we want and where we want it. That's my issue. That's my problem, where we can't even say, whether we want a pharmacist or doctor or whoever in there if that's what we so choose to do. So again, I am in favor of medical marijuana because again, that's what the public wanted as a whole. I'm just not in favor of the unchecked proliferation of it within the city limits.
Well, if you change your item to 2, otherwise right now it's 211.
Well, at this point, the option 2 really means nothing because we really can't say or do anything about what we want, and all the different things that we would try to fight for, they could potentially strike down. So it's either we ban it or we don't. So I'm more in favor of just banning it and not having to deal with the legalities of what loopholes we can and cannot jump through.
All right. Well, there's your answer. It's 211. It's add dispensaries to LDRs with no restriction greater than currently required on pharmacies is the consensus that we got.
I think there needs to be a motion to support an option, and then that 211 becomes yes or no.
Right.
All right. So may I have a motion regarding the direction for medical marijuana dispensaries?
I'll motion to approve option 1.
Do we have a second?
I'll second option 1.
All those in favor state so by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Nay.
All right. 3-2.
Thank you. No, option 1.
Moving on to new business. City manager is requesting the commission set a workshop special commission meeting on Monday, August 21st, 2017 at 6 p.m. in the library program room to update the commission on the Downtown Square project phase 1. Is everyone okay at 6 p.m. for August 21st?
Yeah, we've already spoken to each of the commissioners, but I realize it actually has to be voted on, so we have
All
to
right,
put it on
may I
the
have a
agenda.
motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there
Second.
all those in favor state so by saying aye?
Aye.
Moving on to item 12B, Commissioner Costello has requested to discuss allowing dogs at the beach during certain hours. Do you have any new information regarding Ocean Ridge?
No, we don't, but we're in a process, just got done talking to Wally out there in the hallway. We're going to be reaching out to him. We're not so sure that we need their approval to do this. We just like to be a good neighbor and tell them what our intention is. We have no specifications on how we're going to implement this, but the idea is to possibly have a section of the beach open, maybe certain days or so, certain hours, the morning or in the evening, where people could take their dogs down to the beach and enjoy the ocean in a certain section here. There's a lot of logistics still to get through on how we would, confine the dogs, or the dogs would have to be on a leash. Obviously, the waste bins or and such. One of the ideas that I was floating in my head that maybe with these beach passes that we sell, we could add on to the beach pass for an extra fee where they could use this section of the beach for
There'd
dogs.
be an extra fee for a dog park?
Yeah, for like a little dog section there.
okay
So
with that.
there's a lot of possibilities that we can do. It's still in the infant stages, but I did want to have this discussion here to see if the commission is in favor of moving this discussion forward.
I'm in favor. I've been speaking with Ocean Ridge quite a bit, and so they have their own rules regarding this, and it's in their municipality. So I think they have police jurisdiction over us as our beach. But whatever we can do to get dogs there, I would agree with you that to limit the time and the hours so that it's not during the beach times, mostly between 10 and 4. When I was in Jacksonville Beach, they had certain dog hours, and it worked out very well. And leash laws.
So can I make a motion that we allow the city manager to move forward with discussions with Ocean Ridge?
Yep. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor state so by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is item 12C. I received a request by Representative Emily Schlossberg to pass a resolution supporting legislation that would make the ban on texting while driving a primary offense. I think part of the statistics that we see are more people are texting and driving, or using Facebook and driving Snapchat. I've been to the Dory Saves Lives event, and texting while driving is the biggest killer there. So, I'm asking for a motion or a discussion to approve.
Well, I just like to say I brought this up last year when the red light camera issue came up. I thought that when we go to the Palm Beach County Days, this is something that we really should be getting on. I think it is a big issue here. I think some of those red light camera photos actually showed people taken in with their phones going through the red lights and texting whatever they were doing with them. So I would have no problem with this. I think it'd be a good resolution. I think it's about time. I know she didn't have much luck with it up in Tallahassee. I don't know how much, but at least we can get on board with it.
All right. Vice Mayor, Commissioner, any comments?
Yeah, I'm from New Jersey. It's one of the states that long ago, New Jersey has some of the toughest traffic laws, and banning texting and driving. If it happened a decade ago, I might be off by a couple of years, but in the same regard of trying to improve public safety, it's the way I always think about it is whether someone drinks and drives or someone texts and drives, if they cause bodily harm or God forbid death to a family member of yours, you don't care that they were texting and driving. They were distracted. They intentionally took their attention from the road. So everybody knows it's bad. Everybody does it to some degree. But hopefully most people, like myself, if I'm in the car and I see myself touching the phone, most of the time, and I hope all the time, in the future, I want to condition myself to not touch the phone because it's not worth it. You see on the news every day some girl literally a couple days ago killed her sister in the car while she was playing around on her phone. It just, everybody gets distracted while they're driving, but that's not an excuse to not try to prevent people from getting distracted in the future. So I support the resolution.
Commissioner Ramos, we're voting on item 12C, discuss request of Representative Emily Schlossberg to support legislation to ban texting while driving.
Absolutely. Go for it.
I'm in favor since you reached out to us.
All right. May I have a motion to approve
moved.
the resolution? Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor state so by saying aye.
Aye.
Moving on to legal.
We'll be bringing a resolution back on the next agenda.
Thank you. Shauna? Yep.
An ordinance of the City of Boynton Beach, Florida, amending Chapter 10 of the city's Code of Ordinances, Garbage, Trash, and Offensive Conditions, Article 2, Refuse, Garbage, and Trash, allowing for solid waste rate increase, providing for conflicts, severability, codification, and an effective date.
We have a motion to approve.
Just discussion?
Yep.
Jeff, if I may ask you a question. I know we were copied on a complaint about a gentleman's garbage, the bin being overfilled and not being picked up, and go to find out he wasn't even in Boynton Beach. But anyway, long story short, and I know costs are going to be going up every year with this, and we just got a bunch of new vehicles, trucks. Instead of picking up trash twice a week, if we went to bigger bins, let's say, what are those bins? What's the size of bins that we use now?
We have 65s and 95s, so we have some of the largest bins around that homeowners can use.
In the future, would it behoove us to maybe?
Jeff Livergood, Director of Public Works.
Could we go into like a once a week schedule versus a twice a week? How does that work and not work for the Public Works?
There's some cost savings involved, but it's more of an issue of public service. It's been discussed many times over my career here with the city, and in fact, we looked at it in depth probably 5 to 6 years ago.
And what was the outcome of that?
The outcome is more service-driven than actual cost. The vast majority of the public prefers twice per week, particularly when the hot summer weather. They don't want to leave the garbage can full all week long.
That's good for me.
Yeah.
Okay.
I understand that it costs an extra dime per pickup. So I'm more than okay with this. If we get two pickups a week times 52 weeks, divided by $12.
I think it's a pretty good service for the rate that's charged. And
it's so that the total would be how much per month now?
We would go to $17 year one, $18 year two. And it would also increase by $1 for the multifamily rates. Multifamily rates are slightly lower, just simply because we don't collect yard waste in multifamilies.
And then I guess the other thing I'd like to see in the future is the recycling costs for commercial. See what we can do to get more, incentivize more commercials.
Yeah, that's something through our customer service representative. She spends an incredible amount of time trying to increase recycling, particularly cardboard from commercial customers. So we do work at that pretty hard.
Need a motion?
Yes.
So moved.
Is there a second? Is there a second?
Voted for the budget.
All right.
One of you guys.
Well, I'll pass the gavel to our vice mayor and second it. Is there any? And so.
Do I hear a second?
Yes.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Nay.
No.
So we need a roll call.
Vice Mayor Katz?
No.
Commissioner McCray?
No.
Commissioner Ramos?
No.
Commissioner Casella?
Yes.
Yes.
I will be bringing some changes forward in the proposed budget that will eliminate almost $500,000 from the budget.
And I'll speak to this, and the reason why I'm changing my vote on here is because I cannot in good conscience allow for the red light cameras to come back and then find other ways to keep taxing our residents here. So I'm not going to be in support of anything that's going to be adding an increase to our budget. to our residents.
Next item is 13B. Oh, thank you.
Take this back, please. Let me hit it.
Not, you're going to hit it when we leave.
I don't want to hit it when we leave.
Pursuant to Section 286011, Florida Statute, the city attorney is requesting a private attorney-client session of the City Commission to discuss pending litigation in the following case. Dennis Galinda, Shauna, you want to?
Dennis Galindez and Marla Galindez, his wife, plaintiffs versus the City of Boynton Beach and First Genesis Lawn Service, Inc., defendants. Case number 50-2015 CA 002413, Division AD. It's a civil case. City Attorney will be in attendance along with Assistant City Attorney Tracy DiCarlo and City Attorney, it's been a long day, City Manager Lori Laveria, as well as a court reporter, the Mayor, and the City Commission. We will require approximately 45 minutes for the meeting, and we just need to schedule a time when everyone's available.
Shauna, not with going into a lot of detail, but can you give us a little heads up what this is?
No.
No? Okay.
A lawsuit that's been filed against the city.
Thank you. Our next meeting is the 15th. How much time would you need, Shauna?
45 minutes.
So,
Like we did today.
5:30?
5:30.
5:30 on August 15th.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right. Seeing future agenda, may I have a motion to approve? Do I have a second?
I'd like to, wait 1 second. Regarding the future agenda, I did mention that I'd like to see a conversation come up regarding Power by the Hour. I don't see it listed as a future agenda item. May I ask staff why?
We forgot. We'll add it next month.
Thank you.
Next meeting.
And may I add for future agenda item that we have a discussion about having registered lobbyists sitting on boards, advisory boards, and what the legality of that might be and might not be?
All right. To changing the future agenda item on the meeting, I think we need a motion.
No.
No, we don't?
No, sir.
All right, great. So, anything else on future agenda item by the commission? Seeing none, the motion to adjourn has been first and second. Meeting is adjourned.